Hi, everybody. It's Gene Simmons, and you're not, and you're listening to the Potter Than Hell podcast with Steve, BC, BB, and Dylan. But you knew that, didn't you?
We've got to get out of here. I don't believe it!
Yes, you can believe it.
And now on NBC's Saturday Night at the Movies, Kiss meets the Bannon.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is your last stop on the crazy train of hard rock and heavy metal. So sit back, buckle in, and hang on. Here we go. Hello, Potter Than Hellians, and welcome to this very special episode of the Potter Than Hell podcast. I am your current host, Dylan, and also on keyboards. But with me, as always, is
BC
and
BB,
and the person that's usually the main host,
Steve.
Yeah. Okay. Surprise! Happy Halloween. We decided to end Shocktoberfest by having the episode come out on actual Halloween instead of November 1st, All Saints Day, because the subject we're talking about today, we can't be talking about it on All Saints Day. We need to talk about it on the scariest day of the year, because let me tell you, some of the content in these two movies, pretty frightening.
It's very fucking scary.
Very scary, very scary indeed. But before we get to those, let's go around the room. What are we all listening to? BC, what do you got on the turntable?
I got a mix of hair metal.
Okay.
Doing some research.
Like any bands in particular, or?
Nah, nothing concrete. I guess a little bit of everything.
Okay.
It's too many to...
Okay, cop it out this
One
week.
band. Give us one band.
Boy,
oh boy.
Aquanet? Is that what you said?
Pretty Boy Floyd. How's that?
Pretty Boy Floyd. Okay.
There you go.
That's good. They have a really good Kiss tribute album.
They do.
Very good. Hard to find, though.
Good is subjective.
Well, it's good. The song choices, I think, are good.
They are.
Anyways, BB, what do you got?
In anticipation for the new release of the Pride and Glory vinyl, I've been listening to Pride and Glory's self-titled album.
Ooh,
released from 1994.
Ooh, that unbearded Zach.
That's unbearded Zach. And let me tell you, as much as I like Zach, I love. This is my favorite Zach album because he's not trying to overdo anybody from Ozzy. He's not trying to be wah-wah pedal with Black Label and be whiny. This is just Zach. It's music. He's actually playing on this album.
it's Muzak.
I love it. It's music. Yeah.
Zach being Jeff.
And it's just him playing like different runs, and it's so good. Crazy harmonica, that southern rock. It's it's southern rock with a little heavy twist on it. Brian Tichy on drums, and the bass player.
It's not James Lomenzo, is it?
Yes, he plays with Sweet Lich. Yeah.
James Lomenzo.
Man, oh man,
Lomenzo.
fantastic, three-piece. The music on this album is great, and that's what's been in my ears.
Cooking.
Love it.
Okay, Dad, what do you got?
I was delving into, upon Dylan's recommendation last week, I listened to a little old school Blue Oyster Cult, which some was good, some was bad. Like some stuff though, like the albums are from like the early 70s and stuff.
Yeah.
And there was some stuff I think that was really ahead of their time. I think some of the albums that they put out. Cultosaurus erectus. that cracks me up, that fucking name.
Yeah.
And just like some of the older albums, Fire of Unknown Origin is really good, and it was some good stuff. Some stuff was kind of weird.
Yeah,
but I thought it was good overall, and I was delving back into some classic Kiss, spending some vinyl. We're recording on the 23rd of October today. Yesterday was the 22nd, and that was the anniversary of the release of Hotter Than Hell, which was amazing. There wasn't a big debate online about when the album was actually released. I listened to that. I always enjoyed Hotter Than Hell, and people like to say, they need to remix that. I think it would suck if they remixed it. That's kind of the classicness, that there's so much different sounding in that album. I like it. I wouldn't change a thing on that album.
Interesting. It's a good album for sure. When we're going to be talking about a different version of the title track very soon. But before we get to that, I'll say what I'm listening to this week. I was delving into a bit of Mastodon, going back to the Leviathan album. I was just in the mood for heavier metal, proggy stuff.
It's good stuff.
Really good stuff. I really enjoy it. In addition to some Kiss as well. And I also was delving back into Rob Zombie a little bit because I was feeling the spookiness of the season. And the Hellbilly Deluxe album is really good. So I wanted to give that another spin. So that's what we've been listening to. BC is listening to a hodgepodge. He threw out. Who'd you throw out specifically? Oh, it was Pretty Boy Floyd. That's right.
Some Southgate. I mean, there's a bunch of shit of it.
BB is surprisingly listening to some Zach Mild, blowing everybody's minds.
And I won't speak of Zach the rest of the year.
Yep. Yeah.
Lies.
Hold him to
it's
it.
all lies.
Mark the date, everybody. October 31st.
All lies.
Don't believe him.
Steve is listening to some Blue Oyster Cult, some Kiss, Hotter Than Hell. And I've been listening to some Mastodon and Rob Zombie. So make sure you're liking us on Facebook. You're giving us some reviews on iTunes. We would love to hear what you think of the podcast. If you like it, that'd be awesome to put the 5 stars. If you don't like it, give us a little constructive criticism. If you have anything to add or anything that you want to talk about, maybe even suggest something for the podcast, you could email us at potterthanhellpodcast@gmail.com. The more you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, speaking of The More You Know and TV, and I believe that was actually NBC, correct? That did The More You Know?
It was.
How about that for transition?
Wow.
Now you need to do the do whatever.
Yeah,
whatever
the
their
More You
thing
Know
is there.
sound, yeah.
Do the peacock graphic where the feathers go out into the colors.
Bum, bum. So today we're going to be talking about a Kiss double feature. Kiss released 2 movies that we decided were really similar thematically.
2 blockbuster movies.
2 blockbuster hits. They rivaled the Avengers Endgame box office scores. It was crazy. They're constantly being remade and re-put out on Blu-ray, and they're really easy to find. The first of the movie we're going to be talking about was released it was a made-for-TV movie that was released in 1978 for NBC, released on October 28th, 1978. It's Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park, or for our European fans, Kiss Attack of the Phantoms. So this movie, this was basically during the height of Kiss, right? This was when they were getting really big. They had just done the comic book where they dumped their blood into the ink at Marvel, and their manager, their manager Bill O'Coin was like, "Let's keep this train going. Let's get you guys into a movie." Yep. Basically, so they recorded the movie was produced by Hanna-Barbera. And if that name sounds familiar, it should, because they basically owned your childhood back in the 60s and 70s. They had all these different animated shows: The Flintstones, Yogi Bear, Jetsons, Scooby Doo, The Smurfs, Wacky Races, Penelope Pitstop Dad.
BC's still watching the Smurfs.
The Wacky Races was fantastic.
They were cool.
I love the Wacky Races.
That dog guy.
Yeah,
Like you would
Muttley.
do Smurfet.
Yeah, Muttley. Or Mugsley.
Like you would do Smurfet. Come on.
Well, let's not talk about how
Completing the
hot
fifth.
cartoons are, because that's not what this is about. This is the live-action one.
Oh, there's action.
So they shot this at Magic Mountain in California. Actually, it's where they shot the Banana Split show. And if you look in the background of the laboratory scenes, you can see some of the heads of the Banana Splits costumes. Don't know if you guys noticed
I
that.
didn't notice that. No.
I was watching it. I'm like, wait a second, that's the Banana Splits. And by the way, I don't know if you guys know, there's a Banana Splits horror movie out now. That's
No.
like they're like slasher killers and like killing the audience.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really strange.
Is it like an action? Is it like a funny movie or
No,
just
it's
like
a horror
real
movie.
horror movie?
It's a horror movie.
Really?
Because they couldn't get the. I'm assuming it's because they couldn't get the rights to Five Nights at Freddy's, this famous video. You probably have heard of it with your kids.
Yeah.
It's basically Five Nights at Freddy's, but with the banana splits. But back to the movie.
When banana splits go bad.
So the two screenwriters, Jan Michael Sherman and Don Boudet, they spent some time with each member of KISS to try and get their behavior and try and get what they were all about. And
3 minutes each.
Some of them did not. Some of them did not take it seriously. Ace just kept saying "ack." So originally, in the original script, they basically just had Ace saying "ack," and then he threatened to walk out of the movie if they didn't add more lines. They added more lines. He gets probably the most funny quote lines in the movie.
Hi, Curly.
He's the most quippy, but
well, I think because like he's not taking it seriously, but you can tell, like you can tell Peter doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And Paul and Gene are trying to be the serious actors.
Yeah.
And it's just
Paul, I think.
It's
Paul,
so
I think, is
bad.
the worst actor.
Paul is terrible.
He doesn't. He
We've got
feels
to get out of
uncomfortable.
here.
We've got to get out of here.
He looks really uncomfortable. And speaking of uncomfortable, Peter Criss was overdubbed. Actually, do you know who overdubbed him, Dad?
Some guy.
So, do you remember Duke from G.I. Joe?
No.
Like he was the main character in the G.I. Joe show? That's who overdubbed Peter Criss.
Was the last time like Jackson or something?
No,
What?
that's Action
No.
Jackson.
Oh.
No, Duke was like the main G.I. Joe guys. Come on, people. I thought you guys would know that.
G.I. Joe was on after I was watching cartoons. I mean,
Okay.
like, hardcore watching cartoons.
So the only time you actually hear Peter Criss, in the movie is during the longest version of Beth on the face of the planet.
God.
Yeah.
But there's
brutal.
a lot of like terrible things that happen with this movie. Ace didn't give a shit, so he wasn't on set for most of the time, and you could tell because his stuntman is an African American man, and it's very obvious
Very
at
obvious
times.
a couple times. Yep.
But they also filmed a concert at Magic Mountain to get some of the footage. Also, I think it's some of the worst concert footage I've ever seen in my life. Yes. They have no idea how to shoot concert. Like how to
No, it
shoot
looked
a
like some
show.
dude filmed it with an 8mm camera that he smuggled in up his ass coming in the door.
Yeah, it's bad. But let's get to a little bit of a synopsis before we give our thoughts about it. So this is from Wikipedia. So at Six Flags Magic Mountain, Abner Deveraux, the park's engineer and the creator of a series of animatronic attractions, is not pleased that his works are being overshadowed by an upcoming concert by KISS. Calvin Richards, the park's owner, explains that the concert will generate much-needed revenue to make up for the quality control problems that have plagued Deveraux's creations. Melissa, a park guest, becomes concerned when her boyfriend Sam Farrell, a park employee and assistant to Deveraux, has gone missing. And KISS shows up, and craziness ensues. I'm going to quickly go through some of my notes, if that's okay with everybody.
Sure.
For some of the stuff that I noticed. The first scenes, those lines are horribly dubbed in. The mouths aren't even moving on the people. I don't know if you noticed that. Like,
as they're walking.
Yeah, as they're like walking through the park. I think the biggest problem with this movie is that you don't know what's going on half the time because they don't explain it to you.
No, you're just thrown into a scene and you're like, how the hell did we get here?
And like Abner is like, why is he getting all bent out of shape? KISS is only going to be there for like 3 days. They're going to get more money from this, and he's going to be able to do his creations because he's all about trying to make these animatronic creations that are like,
what it's like?
Realistic and real life.
It's like the toy maker on Chitty Chitty Bang Bang,
Yeah.
like these things, the animatronic things, and they're poorly done. You can tell they're people.
Yeah, it's clearly
in
people.
the things, and they're just so cheesy. I'd
really
rather see a freaking KISS cardboard cutout than those fucking stupid things.
Well, and he gets mad that the KISS cardboard cutout is taking the place of his animatronics.
Yeah.
He's like, what is this monstrosity doing here in the place of my...
We took down your monstrosity.
Yes. I gotta say, some of my favorite characters are the three-man gang that appeared in the beginning. Because... like, there's these kids doing a random pyramid in the middle of the park, and they knock them over.
Yeah, what is it? Slime Chopper and
D. Yeah.
Sweet D.
But like, one of the lines that I really loved, I think Slime says it. Chamber of Thrills, get it, Chopper? Heart attack all the time, all the way, man. That's so lame, man.
Get yourself back into the new century or something, he says to him.
And then this one guy is yelling at them for smoking. He's like, hey, you're not allowed to smoke in here. I'll smoke you. Like, it's so bad.
We make our own fun.
There's a Kiss lookalike contest. And it's literally people going up on stage with makeup. Like, that's not a lookalike contest. That's like maybe best Kiss makeup contest.
But the girl contestant number 7 that the guy had to strip through his cards to see in number 7.
Yeah.
The girl's makeup was actually a good job.
Yeah, no, it was. It was. So the boss fires Abner because apparently the park's rides are malfunctioning, even though we only see one ride malfunction like once. And it's not. It doesn't even look like it's malfunctioning. It just looks like it's a lot more fun.
They just speed it up.
It's going faster. And the shitty thing about it is the manager drives him all the way to the stage, and then he's like, "Hey man, you're fired." You could have just fired him when they were on the ride early. Like, why did he take all this time to fire him?
Dramatic pause. And the guy that's the manager,
yes,
he is one of the recurring characters on NYPD Blue.
Oh, really?
Vince Gatelli.
Huh. That's interesting.
And he's one of my favorite guys on there. He's a cop. And actually, during one episode, he gets all hammered up and shit, and he steals a bus.
Yeah.
And fucking drives it into a thing. So, Vince Gatelli, baby.
That's funny because one of the security guards is Leon Kowalski from Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Which
the guy that looks like PQB.
Yeah. I was like, why does he look so familiar?
And he was in 48 Hours, too.
Yeah.
He was Keo in 48 Hours.
Yeah, so Deveraux tells him, "Oh, you'll regret this day," which, if I was the manager, I would immediately call security and have him escorted off the premises.
Yeah.
He walks out slowly to what is it? Man with 1,000 Faces?
To contemplate. Yeah, I don't know which he walks out to.
It's like it's a song that doesn't match the scene at all.
No,
because it's like
it's a reflective part where he's like all sad and shit, but the song's like nothing to do with that at all.
The band doesn't show up until like
40 minutes
into the movie, and I love that they like fly in to the stage.
Yeah,
I gotta say, I remember when this was first out, we were. So 78, I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
And I was like maybe a year older than all my buddies like in school because of when my birthday is. It was coming out, and it was a Saturday night, and it was our friend John Caparo's birthday party. So we had the party, and then we all just kind of nestled in to I all had our popcorn and all that shit to watch the movie at his house.
Yes.
And we were like, oh my God, this is so cool. But I remember sitting there going like, watching the beginning, we're like, oh my God, look at there they are doing rock and roll night, and they're on the ride spinning around, and the fucking jeans in the roller coaster, and like it's cool, and Paul's doing all these kind of cool stage moves and shit.
Yeah.
Because really, up to then, besides if you caught them on the Paul Lynde special like 2 years before, which I was actually fortunate to see when it was on, thanks to my mom. Like you didn't have YouTube or a computer and all of that shit, so like you didn't really get to see Kiss live at all. So you're like, oh my God, look at that, holy shit! They're you're like freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
And then I remember sitting there, we're like, is Kiss actually in this movie? We're like, we went through like 3 or 4 commercial breaks and like no Kiss. Like what the hell? Like come on. But the excitement was just palpable. We were just blown away by the whole movie. But I mean, you're 10-year-old kids. Like what you thinking as a 10-year-old kid, and what you know now over all the years, it's a totally different story. But it was like we were like, I think I'm not even gonna say what I was gonna fucking say. But it was exciting. It was like like that seemed like the longest fucking week in school. Like we're like, okay. It's Monday. Okay, Saturday's coming. We're going to be watching the Kiss movie. Oh, my God. What do you think the movie's going to be? What do you think the Phantom's going to be? Is it going to be this ghost or whatever the hell? You know what I mean? Like, you're just, like, anticipating so much. Because I think there was a picture in the TV guide of them for the advertisement for it. And, like kids were bringing it to school and stuff. And, like, you had it, we didn't have backpacks then. So you're just carrying all your shit around.
Yeah.
But it was, like, the anticipation of this was, like, palpable. It was, like, oh, my God. It was kind of like... I felt like the anticipation going on to Kiss Cruise for the first time. Like, oh my God, you know it's going to be cool, but you don't know what it's going to be like, and you're like, this is going to be fucking awesome. And but it was just crazy.
Yeah, what did you guys? Did you guys ever like? What was your first experience with the movie?
I remember my cousins. We were doing something at my aunt's house, and I remember they were getting ready to watch it, and I was going home because I was like 6, and I didn't see it actually on the.
It was BT for BB.
That's right.
Up the wooden hill, bitch.
That's right. You're going to bed, boy. It's 8:00.
So when was the first time you saw it?
The other day.
No, I think one of us had a copy of it on VHS, so it was probably
it circulated a little
like
bit.
86.
Okay. How about you, BC?
I was 8 years old.
So you saw? Did you see it live?
I saw it right. Yeah, I can remember. Blast from the Past TV Guide. Wow.
Yeah.
You said, I'm like, oh shit, yeah, TV Guide. But my first note here, not as good as I remember. Like you said,
no, I know. You're an 8-year-old kid watching it. I was a 10-year-old kid watching it.
Like you said,
and it was the coolest fucking thing ever. Because really, if you hadn't seen the Paul Lynde special, you've never saw them play live.
Yeah.
But and also it was a different setting too. Like it was like they're playing like in this castle with all this. It was cool. Don't get me wrong, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But like
Margaret Hamilton as the Wicked Witch of the West.
You're like they're like bigger than life, and that was my favorite. One of my favorite times, that Alive 2 era, like the stage and stuff. When we get further in, I'll give you my impressions on that. But just like the initial thing was like, oh my God, Kiss is going to be on TV. Oh my God. And like
exactly,
you went to bed every night that week, like, okay, if I wake up tomorrow, it's going to be 3 more days until we get to see it. And then you get up that morning, okay, so it's like 8:00 in the morning. So God, 12 hours till this comes on. Come on, you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And it was on TV. That was a big thing back then. It was they're on TV.
I know.
They're on TV.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's like,
yeah. You just pull up the computer, put on YouTube, punch in anything you want.
The biggest thing I have here, I got to get this off my
Yeah, go ahead.
Is Gene Simmons is the demon, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why does he sound like a fucking lion?
Yeah, so he roars quite often.
Yeah, but it sounds like a lion.
He also
more
has
roars than lines.
He also has like a weird voice modification
dubbed over.
that like you can't understand him.
Force field is French accent, Italian.
It's a cosmic force field which protects our talisman.
It sounds like a lion. I'm going.
Yeah, it was. It's very strange. Yeah.
But back then, when you were a kid, you're like, whoa.
Yeah, he's the demon.
Yeah.
And you're thinking this is how these guys are. This is like
This is them in real life.
like,
they wear those weird silver
what the fuck
cloaks.
does act mean?
Because back then, you didn't see interviews.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, this movie, it's really strange because it seems like it was written for Kiss, but at the same time, it also feels like Kiss was shoehorned into it. I don't know. It's that weird mix of, it's like, oh shit, we forgot about Kiss, but also
we need to get them in this movie somehow.
The whole movie hinges on Kiss. So I don't know how you can have both of those things happening, but they do. And the concert footage, the first song we hear them play after the Rock and Roll Night of the opening credits is Shout Out Loud, and it's the studio version. They basically play the entire song. And then there's like a random cut to Abner, the main villain, making the people into the gang into colonial people after they've gone through this like fun house.
Right, but that scene where those guys are in the fun house, that is a long and torturous scene. I'm like, do they have to go to every display and fuck with it? Do they have to show, like the whole thing?
And then we go through it again with Kiss.
And you're like, oh my God, like just like fucking take them away or kill them already or do something. But it was like every single thing.
There's one that keep showing. And it's the one with the guy getting whipped.
The whip.
They kept showing that one. And I'm like, what is your fascination?
I think of BC every time I see that one.
What was your fascination with that?
Got the whip. Thank you, man. May I have another? Thank you, have another.
They do show that off.
Yeah, it's horrible. And then like they're made into colonial people, and it cuts to Kiss ending Black Diamond. So the drum riser's up in the air.
But like some of that concert footage was cool though.
That's probably
like, even
the
watching
best
this
part
now,
of it.
I'm like, that shit is cool, especially
like
when
during
they
the
show
Black Diamond.
the from back further where you see the.
Yeah,
it's pretty much like the inside cover of Alive 2.
Yeah,
right. And it's like, holy shit, that is cool as fuck. And I think that part is still freaking awesome.
Yeah, no, I agree. But the one thing that kept bugging me about the concert footage was they would keep doing the zoom in and out of the Kiss, like the Kiss,
the Kiss
logo. I'm like, what are you doing? Stop.
Well, you know what? Back to your when they did Shout It Out Loud.
Yeah.
What I couldn't understand is they use the shout it out loud from Destroyer,
Yeah.
which has the piano background. Why don't they use the version
From Alive 2?
From Alive 2.
And that's what's confusing to me, because when we get to what do? They do I Stole Your Love, right?
Yeah,
But that's like completely
That's
live.
alive. Yeah.
That's
And I don't
completely
understand why they use studio for one.
And then at the end,
and
Rock and
live.
Roll Over is the Dress to Kill version.
Rock and Roll Over?
Or the
Rock and Roll
Rock and Roll Night. Rock
yeah.
and Roll Night.
Right.
Yeah,
Is
it's
the-
very confusing what versions of the songs
Yeah.
they use.
Right.
But you could tell that watching this movie, watching all this stuff, that the people who made this movie have no fucking idea about Kiss.
No.
They have no
Because
idea
when-
about Kiss. They
because
just said,
during-
here's what we're going to do, and
Because during
Here's some
on the concert part of I Stole Your Love, Gene is breathing fire, and we all know Gene doesn't breathe
And
fire in I
right.
Stole Your Love.
But it's
They
weird
kinda
because
give
he
a synopsis
goes
of the
over
whole
to
show.
grab the sword, and then it cuts, and then he's away from the sword. And I'm like, fucking continuity, man.
and I forgot too that he lights the torch off of the Sam the Serpent.
That
That is cool.
That's
I
cool.
That was
totally
cool.
forgot that he used to do that. That was fucking
And at
awesome.
the end, he like the robot Gene is like holding up Sam the Serpent, like he's about to
throw
throw
it
it.
on him.
But then we cut, and he doesn't have it anymore. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, the way
What happened?
it was very cut up.
But the concert ends, and we have a mind-controlled Sam taking reference photos for Abner. He's gonna try and make robot copies of Kiss.
Take pictures of their face, every angle.
Yeah, and it's like, why do you need every angle of Ace Frehley? That's too many angles of Ace Frehley. And then Melissa, is that her name?
Melissa, yeah.
She tries to get backstage, and the cops are like, "What the fuck are you doing? Stop!" And then Paul freezes them with his eye.
But first you get the Star Child.
Yeah, Star Child. And like she gets mesmerized, and like it comes towards them.
There's more power in that one eye than it goes all over the
And
place.
like the
all
only
movie.
scene is like for them to be like, "Yeah, Sam is at the park," and I'm like, "What?"
And then they walk
And then
away.
they walk away.
He's
I'm
here.
like, what was-
You're looking for someone, but it's not Kiss.
You're looking for someone, but it's not Kiss.
But then
Can you fucking Keanu Reeves can put more life into that fucking line than Paul Stanley does. Like, good God, like.
But like, it's really weird because the next scene we see them with, like, because Melissa leaves the park and she's like, "I will be back," and then like the next scene we see Kiss with and her, they're like palling around by the pool singing Beth. Like, what?
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
happened?
yeah.
How did they? What?
Well, you gotta go back though to Deveraux trying to pin the downfall of the park on Kiss
Yeah.
because he makes the Gene.
Well, I thought that happens after.
No, that happens before the pool
That's
thing.
that's the
That's when he confronts. Then
Oh, he trashes the place.
No, because that's weird because the version I watched, the pool happened, and then like Gene trashed the park.
no, because that's when the cops come and they confront him.
No, there's the day pool scene, but then the night pool scene happens before that. Because there's a night pool scene where they sing Beth.
Oh, yeah.
And then Sam tries to steal the talisman.
Then I think,
But
then
then,
they come
like-
the next day. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and
you're
then
right.
like...
Well, see, because
and
I
then right
watched
after
both
that-
versions in the last 2 days, and I
Yeah.
have them totally fucking mixed
So-
up because the versions are totally like
Yeah.
sequenced different.
So
Yeah.
like, so what happens in the version that I saw? They like after she leaves the park, she goes with Kiss to the pool, and they're singing Beth. Meanwhile, Sam is
Month's
mind
version
controlled.
ever.
He's like, "Oh, you got to get these talismans that literally we've only heard of this one time
Yeah.
that you were told about it." And there's a force field that's protecting it, and apparently the talismans give Kiss their magical abilities. We've seen Gene breathe fire, and we've seen Paul with his star eye. So we don't know about Ace and Peters yet, but we will get to it. And
and
then,
funny when they do Beth, Paul's playing guitar.
yeah,
You notice that too?
it's the acoustic.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the acoustic version of Beth with Paul and guitar. They're wearing
And
those
Ace is
weird
just
silver
sitting there.
cloaks.
And when he touches the talisman, it's like blink, blink, blink,
Yep.
like it fucks him
I
up.
can't play guitar anymore. Oh
My
no!
superpower is gone.
And then like Melissa sees Sam walking out, and she tries to kiss him, and when he doesn't kiss back, she screams. And I'm like,
Here comes Kiss
wow,
running to the
that's.
rescue.
And then Kiss runs.
Gene's
It's
like, what exactly did he say? And
He didn't say anything at all. and then we get the scene where Robo Gene, Kool-Aid Man through a wall to
Oh yeah.
to radioactive. Which like actually like it's a really cool scene. Like during the creepy part
The
of
build up
radioactive.
for it is cool. That is probably
Sanctum.
one of the coolest,
Sanctum. And the cops are
most
like,
well done scenes in the movie.
security guards are worthless. They're just like standing around him.
Give me some backup here to Section 18, quick!
And then the fun part of radioactive starts, and this Robo Gene's throwing them all around, and he's killing the coke product
He fucking
placement.
busts the fuck out of that Coke stand.
Yeah.
I guess you don't like Coke.
Yeah.
I guess he's a Pepsi guy.
Yeah.
And then we cut to the day pool scene.
Oh, okay. See,
and
that
they're like,
sequence is all fucked
and it's
up.
like, oh, nobody's answering. And then the security guy, it's like, oh, maybe they went for a swim. And then the one security card goes, rock and rollers don't bathe.
Rock and rollers don't bathe.
That was fucking awesome.
And then we see Kiss lounging on the pool chairs like lifeguards with
Just
the cloaks
hanging
on.
around with their makeup on all
Now,
day.
still wondering at that scene, is that Robot Gene or regular
No,
Gene?
it's-
Because he really doesn't.
It's regular Gene, but he's being a dick and like not helping.
That's actually one of the worst act scenes in the movie too.
Because he's just like,
Yeah, because you don't know which one he is.
Stomps around like.
I'm like, why don't you just act normal? They literally think you wrecked the fucking park.
But you know what? Like, you find out what another superpower of Paul. Paul can hear with his
Yes,
eye.
That's right.
See the eyes?
Another one.
He does the beam across the pool.
Yes.
He can fucking hear with his eye.
Yes.
They're thinking you did this.
And we get Ace's first line too. He goes, "Hiya, Curly."
Hiya, Curly.
Hi, Curly.
And then they're like, "Hey, Gene, they think you really did it."
Easy, Catman. They are serious.
And they've got guns.
He's convinced you did it.
And then there's a hard cut to them playing "I Stole Your Love." Like, what the fuck? Why are we cutting all of a sudden?
We just want you to have a good show, fellas.
Yeah.
This guy's bringing $200 a show. $200 million,
Yeah,
$200,000 a show.
the owner of the park does not want to step on Kiss's toes. Or, well, not that he could because of the boots, but
Let him kill a couple security guards. We don't give a
Yeah,
fuck.
they're
Bringing in
clearly
money.
bad at their jobs. It's good to just get rid of them. Yeah, Paul listens in with his eye. I don't know how the fuck that happens. Yeah, and then all of a sudden, like, so Deveraux is amping up his plans. He got the photos of Kiss. He's making the band stuff. Sam manages to steal the talismans finally, because he has a ray gun. He has a ray gun with him now.
Why does he shoot them?
Well, to get rid of the force field.
He picks them up and carries them.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying what the movie's done.
At that part, I was laughing.
And all of a sudden, the band knows that Deveraux is behind it. And
Right, because like, how do they even know his name?
Nobody knew anything about Deveraux
I
until
don't think
this
you hear
very
his
moment.
name mentioned in front of the band at all.
No,
and then they're like, Deveraux.
Yeah.
Deveraux.
And then they fight. Like
The
white monkeys to the tune of New York Groove.
Yeah, I have that down here, white monkey slash creep.
But the thing is, you gotta if you watch both versions, there is no Kiss music in any of these scenes.
It's like
There's none. It's all like 70s
So-
porn,
Shaft
70s
music.
chase music. Yeah, it is. It's
the
crazy.
European cut does have the solo songs in it.
Yeah, and there's a bunch through the whole movie.
It's
like
really-
even fucking "Hold Me, Touch Me" is on the one scene. Like,
Yeah.
what? Oh God.
I want to show you guys a picture I took of Paul during the monkey fight scene that I think is the best thing ever.
Oh yeah. The serious, the serious over the road.
And we'll post this on the Facebook page. But he like hits a monkey and then he strikes a Charlie's Angels pose.
Charlie's Angels
and then
It's either that or the stork from Karate Kid.
And then Vogue's for the camera. So they fight off the monkeys, and then they manage to get into the Hall of Horrors that the gang was in, and they fight off like the Universal monsters to the tune of Love in Chains, which was fucking awesome to hear that song. And they get their ass kicked because of the talisman. We do see Ace finally show his power. The hitchhiking, he hitchhikes and teleports.
And then they go to the amphitheater.
Oh yeah, they go to the amphitheater
with the samurais and the sumo guys.
And then they fight them for a bit. Then they teleport out again, and then they go.
But they teleport from the seats to the stage.
Yeah,
and then out.
Then out
when they get surrounded.
And then they go to the Hall of Horrors, and I don't know how they're getting to any of these places. Like, where do they know? How do they know to go there?
Right. Well, because like Sam is out there and they see him, like, and you can see them looking down, and Sam's looking at him.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, it's awful quiet. And he's like, starts singing Rocket Ride.
Yeah.
Seems a little too quiet if you ask me. Yep.
Well, why didn't you say so?
It's Sam!
Wonder what his trip is.
His trip's a trap. Let's bring it.
Oh, I don't remember that part at all.
Oh, well, that's on the American one then.
don't remember
They're like,
that at
it's
all.
awful quiet. And he's like, oh, you want quiet, Curly? And he's like, she wants a rocket ride. She wants it. And it's like, shh. And like Sam's looking, they're like hiding in plain sight. And Sam's looking down on him. And then he starts walking away. They're like, oh, there's Sam.
Oh, I don't remember that at all.
Oh, it's good.
My
So you got to watch both.
Yeah.
And I forgot that they were on the carousel, and I love that Kiss got to ride a carousel for like 5 minutes. Like, what was the point of that?
And that was when he hit the talisman with the ray gun.
Yeah.
And then they're like, what's wrong, Gene?
Deveraux.
And he's like, nothing.
Yeah, Deveraux. So then they get captured. They get sucked up into this vent
After they fight all the creatures.
After they fight all the Universal monsters.
They fight BC and Renee with the
11 chains. And then
I do like when he sets the mummy on fire. Though.
That is very cool.
That's kind of cool.
I thought he was going to say, like, how about some fire, Scarecrow? But he didn't, which would have been cool. So they get put into the little cage, and the robot Kiss walks by, and Deveraux's like, I've given you guys the best seats in the house, and then shows them the smallest fucking monitors.
They're like
7-inch
monitors,
the other
35
side of the
feet
room.
away.
Like, the best seats in the house.
I hope you guys enjoy yourselves.
Yeah, and so then...
That's when you get we've got to get out of here.
We've got to get out of here.
With the little things going.
Oh, God.
So then Rip and Destroy happens. The robots play it and incite the riot.
Now on the Attack of the Phantoms one, does Melissa confront Sneed, the cop?
No,
because she confronts him backstage when fake Kiss walks by, and she's like, "You got to do something."
Oh wait, no, that's right.
She and then he's like got the blank look, and then that's when it goes to a commercial.
Yeah, she did, and like nothing came of that.
Yeah. She just
and then
went up and played.
The owner's like, "Oh no, something's happened," and like nothing comes of that either.
But like, you know what? How fucking awesome would that be if you went to a Kiss show and they started playing Rip and Destroy? That would be so cool. Because like you got to think, if people are at a Kiss concert and they'd be like, "Oh my God, that's a cool version of Hotter Than Hell," like that'd be cool.
And the crowd doesn't look any more riotty. They look
but they do. If you watch it, they look pissed off when they're playing Rip and Destroy. Because actually, you could see one kid flipping the bird. I'm watching the crowd scenes, and I'm like, you can see one kid flipping the bird.
They keep playing that, and then Kiss, through the power of friendship, manages to get the talismans.
Yeah, they melded their minds.
Thank God.
See?
Leave it to me, Star Child. I'll bend these beams with my mind.
Not yours.
Ours.
Concentrate.
Got to try.
That's where Gene got the idea for We Are One.
Yeah.
He wasn't talking about the fans. He was talking about the mental powers of
And
Kiss.
then they teleport to the stage, and much like Peter Frampton and the Bee Gees fought Aerosmith, Kiss fights Robo-Kiss.
Oh my God, that was a lame fight.
I mean, like, there were some cool setup
you could
moments,
fight
like when Robo-Gene was holding Sam the Serpent up, about to throw it, but then
disappears.
Like, it disappears, and then they
and
all
the real
get killed
Gene
at
picks
once.
it up and breathes fire with it.
Yeah.
With Sam.
And then they all disappear at once. And like, I'm like, okay, whatever. And then they have time to finish the show. They have to finish the show before they confront Deveraux. But it turns out they don't really need to confront Deveraux, because when we cut back to him, he some reason has white hair and is comatose.
He's staring off into space.
Like, what the?
There's no use. There's no use.
This has always confused me. What the fuck happened to him?
He made Kiss to destroy Kiss.
Yeah, I like.
Yeah, but
what happened to him? And Sam.
I don't know. It's like, seriously, like, I'm telling you, that was like the best thing since fucking sliced bread, canned beer, and colored condoms. We were watching that as we were kids.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now you're watching it, you're like, oh my God, like, it's fun to watch though, because like you're in. When you watch it now, you put yourself, you're in both places now.
Yeah.
Because you're still thinking, oh my God, this was the coolest fucking thing ever. Then the adult you was thinking, boy, this is fucking so stupid.
Yeah.
Like, and you can see why, like, you know, when on I think it's Kiss Extreme Close Up, Paul's like, you know, we were kind of like down in our seats, like, oh God, like kind of thing. But it was cool. I have a total crazy thought for later on, but it was a fun watch again though. It was, but like there's a big difference between the Attack of the Phantoms, the European or Australian version, whatever it is, and then the Phantom Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. But I gotta say, in preparation for this, I bought the DVD of Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. I think I got it on eBay. It was like, I don't know, it was like $20 or something. But when it came, it has like a fake ticket of Magic Mountain.
Oh, that's cool.
For the show.
That's very cool.
In the DVD.
That's very cool.
Real cool. Yeah, so
that is cool.
I don't know who it came from or whatever, but it was a cool little insert like in there, so it was neat. But it had the first album faces on the ticket.
Okay.
Right? Didn't it, PC? But it was fun. Like I said, it took me right back to there. I mean, just remembering the anticipation, like, oh my God, counting down the days and like minutes and hours and then. And that's all we talked about for like 6 months in school was that, how fucking awesome that was.
Everything was better back then. Anticipation for the show, even music, because to release it.
You couldn't pull up 10,000 albums on your telephone.
Yeah.
Not only that, but
because you had your telephone, you had a.
You barely knew when stuff's coming out to you at the record store going, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, because we talked about different Kiss albums and like we didn't even know The Elder was out until we went in the record store down at King of Prussia, and like the whole wall was Kiss albums. Like, holy shit.
What the fuck's this?
Yeah.
We didn't say that back then.
No. So
You're thinking it.
So BC, what did you think on this rewatch of the movie?
Whew. Like I said, it brought back sitting in front of the TV. The TV that was up on little legs.
Was it color or was it black and white?
That was color.
Yeah.
That was big back then. I mean, years later, I got a little 19-inch black and white TV. I thought that was the cat's meow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I got my own TV. Compared to nowadays, like what the kids have nowadays,
yeah,
it was a different time back then. It was. I mean,
that's when TVs were furniture then.
Yeah, there were wood.
Yeah. And if it broke, you took it to get fixed. You didn't throw it out in the garbage for the next week and have another one in by the end of the day.
Well, things weren't disposable back then.
Right.
But overall, I mean, it is what it is. You look back at it, it was just that time.
Mm-hmm.
And there were lunch boxes and dolls and all this sort of shit, so why not throw them in a movie?
So what would you say your favorite and least favorite scenes are?
I like the live scenes are my favorite.
Okay.
And then some of the really bad acting scenes.
You mean all of the movie?
Yeah. I mean, going back then when they were fighting those monkeys or whatever, wolves or whatever the fuck they are. I mean, back then you're like, ooh, they're kicking their ass, and now you look back and oh my God,
Yeah.
I just think that's just so funny. I mean, it's a time in your life that you always remember, hopefully.
BB, your thoughts on the movie?
I watched both, so I thought it was kind of weird why did they change the music from the one that was released in America over there? Like there's 18 different songs.
Yeah.
And a lot of the songs, most of them fit. Like
Yeah.
there's like when they were doing Almost Human when the two cops they had like that tear gas or whatever, and like the revolutionary guys come in and they're going, I'm almost human. Like that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like, because they're robots and they're like, oh, that kind of fits. That's really cool. That was like the big thing. Like I couldn't understand. Like you go from like 4 songs to 18.
So I think that the solo albums weren't out worldwide at that point, and that's what they weren't like as the movie was in production. They weren't ready to be put in the into the movie. So with the European version, which came out a little later, they were able to add those in.
Yeah, but you know what I'm thinking too. I don't know if it was a thing back then. Was publishing a thing back then, where maybe they couldn't have all those songs in the movie because did they figure they paid Kiss enough where that they didn't want to have to pay them the publishing to play them songs on the TV.
Well,
where in Europe maybe it's not a thing.
The solo albums came out September 18th, and the movie came out October 28th. So that's nowhere near enough time for them to go on the soundtrack for when it's being broadcast then, Like that's a little over a month. And post-production by that point is already done. They're at to the marketing and the promoting aspect of it. So those songs they weren't ready, and I think that's why they weren't put in the movie. I think they work better in the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some songs that I don't think work as well. Like
they're not
Mr.
matched good to the scene that they're in.
Like New York Groove is not a fight song, but yeah, So which version did you like better? The one with the songs?
Yeah, I definitely like the European one better because it gave you more of a, because there were a couple of like, especially like on like Peter's one, that a couple of songs he did. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I kind of remember that one, but I don't remember that one. So it kind of like joggles your memory, like of the songs that they released back in '78.
Yeah.
That was definitely the highlight. I thought was like the big difference for me. Like there was a lot more of their actual music than just seeing the music live, and I don't know, a lot of the live stuff didn't really thrill me because we've been watching Kiss videos for years, and you knew, like I said before, like when Gene was breathing fire and I Stole Your Love, that doesn't happen, but it's still cool to watch him do it.
What are you doing?
Yeah. But I think they just tried to cram all the shit that you would see at a Kiss concert into one song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were your favorite and least favorite parts?
I think my favorite was like when Gene did the Kool-Aid guy through the wall and like the fight scene, and they were playing Radioactive. Probably my least favorite was like a couple of times how like they came into like the stage. Like there was even one time Paul was walking down on his I-beam. I'm like, how's he walking down his I-beam? His eyes are right there. He's walking down on his I-beam.
In the beginning.
That was kind of funny, but it's a giggle. It was a good watch. I wish I was able to enjoy it like these guys did when they were younger, but it's still funny.
Yeah. Dad, what are your thoughts on the movie?
I think it's crazy that it's the same movie, but the differences in the two different versions is crazy.
You got the Ace cut and the non-Ace cut.
Well, because even in the beginning of the American version, it starts off with them doing Rock and Roll Night, and you see them, and
well, that's also in the European.
No, it's not. At the very beginning of that, they're on the roller coaster, and then when they go into the tunnel, then Kiss starts to play.
Yeah. Okay.
And then they go off, and then the roller coaster comes out of the tunnel.
Yeah.
But you don't see them on the roller coaster.
Oh, they're actually on the roller coaster.
They're actually on the roller coaster right at the beginning.
Okay.
So you don't see that until later. And like the very first scene on the American version is the band, the Canyon Band, coming down the thing, which you don't see in the other version until a little bit later on.
Yeah, the marching band?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's like big differences between the two. And I think that maybe when they put out the European version, they gave it a little more thought to put some stuff in there. Because I would like to see some of the shit that was cut out that would maybe actually set up a scene or give you some kind of like sense of where you're at in this movie. But like when we were kids, we didn't give a shit. We just wanted to see Kiss, and when they were doing the fight scenes, I remember we're all like kind of like fighting one another, like like kind of crazy shit like that. But it was just like such a cool time, and it just like took me right back, like just like I said before, just the anticipation, like and you did not see Kiss other than on print, other than in a magazine. You didn't see them on TV. They weren't on. No, YouTube was 30 years down the road, so it was just such a cool thing. And I remember they put out a commemorative magazine, Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. Remember, because they had their picture, but Peter was like on the front. It had the big orb or whatever, and he was like on it. Remember it was like a glossy covered magazine.
He was reenacting the Can I Play with Madness music.
Yeah, I think it was like $7 or something like that. I remember I bought it, and I had to buy 2 of them so I could cut out the pictures and have both pictures from both sides of that on my wall. But it was cool, and like you just did shit like that, and it was cool watching it. It took me right back. I was like, this is stupid and fun at the same time.
Back then, you didn't watch a movie or a show anything going, oh, that was acted horribly.
No, and you were thinking that's how Kiss is, but you're not even
Paul's
thinking,
really that stilted.
Yeah.
He's got power that he can listen with his eyes.
But I mean, they were really like superheroes.
Steve was walking around town like this all week.
I was.
He was the original Duckface
guy. I still may do that occasionally. But it was fun, and it was cool. Like I said, just my main take from it was remembering the anticipation of it, and then just the holy fuck factor when you're watching it. You're like, here's
for the whole week you watch a commercial. This Saturday night,
yeah, and they would show just like a little boom clip. I would love to see if maybe we'll have to look on YouTube and see if there's promos, commercials for it on there, which there probably is. I think that would, not even thinking of it, we could have checked that out. Yeah. But it was cool. It was the cat's ass back then.
Yeah. So what were your favorite and least favorite scenes?
Oh, God, looking back on it, like I have to go for that by now.
Yeah.
I think the worst scene is when they're coming off the stage and Star Child. Wait a minute, this is ridiculous. Like, that part I think is just so fucking ridiculous. You're looking for something, but it's not Kiss. Sam's still in the park, and then they walk away. Like, okay, well, thanks, whatever. And like the best scene. I don't know if there is one. No. I'd say my favorite scene. I love the I Stole Your Love. I just remember them coming down in the cages and they just kind of swing out and down. I was like, that's so awesome. Oh my God. And so that's really like, and even as a kid watching it, you could, because like I had Destroyer and I don't think I had Dressed to Kill when this came out. But I had Destroyer, and I knew when they did Shout Out Loud that was that version. Yeah. But, like, the total difference between them live and the studio was, like, right in your face. Even as a 10-year-old, you're like, this is what they sound like live. It is so cool to see them, like, actually, like, rock it out. And, like, even just put that from then till now. Look at how they rocked out then. I mean, I know they're in their 70s or 60s or whatever the fuck now, but, like, what a difference between what they did then and what they do now.
Yeah.
I mean, the music wasn't as good and as polished, but what you get in that, you lose now in stage
showmanship and
energy.
Panache, yeah.
But I like that. How about you?
So I can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to make Kiss into superheroes. And I think the powers absolutely match the character pretty well, and I really like how the talismans look. There's some cool elements to the movie that I think if they were expanded on, if they had a better budget, it would have come out a little better. But it's just a really shoddy production. It doesn't seem like anybody really knew exactly what they were doing, and clearly they didn't have fun on set because Peter and Ace were apparently really deep into substance abuse at that point, and like afterwards they were embarrassed by it. So it's really sad that they didn't get any enjoyment out of this movie, but I definitely got some enjoyment out of watching it. This would be a really good Mystery Science Theater 3000 movie to riff over, like to just I don't know if you guys are.
I'm sure it's been done somewhere. It's got to be been done.
It's a perfect midnight movie to just kind of make fun of. There's some genuinely fun parts.
It'll be the opener for Rocky Horror Picture Show.
And I could see how it would appeal to kids back in the day, and
it did.
Yeah, and it clearly did because you guys remember it fondly. But honestly, it's not a good movie quality wise, but it's a fun movie to rewatch because though there are boring parts of it, there's some funny parts as well. Yeah. My favorite part, ironically, is Ace and Peter riding the ride together at the rock and roll night. It's like a little.
At one point, Peter's hitting Ace's guitar with the drumsticks.
Yeah. But my actual favorite part is probably the same as BB's. I really like when Gene bursts through the wall in that moment with the beginning part of Radioactive.
That is the coolest made part, I think.
Yeah, because that one really you could see the menace,
right?
And like the shadow of Gene on the wall really worked. And I also really enjoyed the Love and Chains fight scene in the dungeon with the characters because I loved how he set the mummy on fire. There were some cool action moments like Peter's swinging in on the chandelier. Like there's some cool inspired moments. My least favorite scenes are the ones where you could see Ace's stuntman as Ace. The Melissa stuff does not land with me at all. Like she's not needed.
No, and actually, I meant to mention it too when she's like it's mystical. Yeah. Like when they're all sitting around.
Oh,
it's kind of like they're like in a fucking opium den or something like that.
Yeah.
And then also, did you notice when Sam went to find the talisman. He's like knocking all the shit down.
And
like, how about that big thing? It was like a big piece of shit on the floor. Oh yeah, it was like the biggest fucking it was like a King Kong turd all rolled up on the floor as like a fucking beanbag thing or something like that.
And also
flips it up.
Can we talk about the cloaks they wear? Like, why were they wearing those? What were those cloaks?
They were like. It was like
their summer wear.
Like asbestos firefighting suits that they used to have to fight like oil fires and shit.
Yeah, it was bad.
But that was a big thing.
So
there was posters with them. And shit.
If you had to guess which artist's music was used the least in this movie, who would you say?
Probably Paul's.
Not Paul. No.
Ace.
It's Ace.
That's good to see it.
Yeah. There's a lot of Peter. There's a lot of Peter.
Gene had the most, I believe. Paul, I think, was the second least. Paul might have actually been tied with Ace. Actually, yeah, Paul's tied with Ace, it looks like.
Peter had a lot.
Peter did. He had Hooked on Rock and Roll. That's the kind of sugar Papa likes. Easy Thing. He had Beth. So he was getting out there. But
there was never a soundtrack released for this.
No. Why did you want Rip and Destroy?
No, that'd be cool. That'd be really
just
cool.
The same verse and chorus repeated 12
I know,
times.
It is. It's
so
like
long.
It's like the long version of Beth on there. It just like goes on and on.
It's so long. And Beth, he bounces back to the first verse, and I'm like, "What are you doing?"
One thing I noticed, I don't know if it's on the European one. I just literally watched the American one today, and there's one part where. He tells, in the beginning, Sam tells Melissa, I'll meet you at the snack bar in an hour or whatever. And how does he find that wall? How does he even know that there's something to look for? And what happens to him when he opens the door, he gets in there,
Yeah, it's just very The problem with this movie is there are so many gaps in the story that you're just supposed to jump to.
Right. But what I was going to say is, she's sitting at the snack bar thing there, and she gets she's having a soda, and the girl brings one over. But they're playing Christine 16 in the background, right? And then the one dude makes goo eyes at her, and she gets all hoity-toity and gets the fuck up and walks away. But then they cut to another scene of, like, kids in Kiss makeup or something like that or running around, and the song actually picks right up where it was when she walked away from the table, which I found, like, why couldn't you edit the rest of the fucking movie like that?
Yeah,
because it was like a perfect like one from one, like they didn't miss a step in the song.
Yeah,
from one scene to another, but then they do one scene where you can't even tell why are they here in another scene.
This movie was hatcheted together editing wise. It's a hatchet.
It was
job.
like let's just cut it and get it out on the street.
Yeah, that's like it. Literally, it's like we need to get something out there. They're gonna like these scenes. Just put these out.
Right. When did they start filming this thing?
So they filmed it, I believe, over May 1978.
May 78.
So they had to get it out in October.
So it came out in
That's
October.
a short production time. That in the 70s, it's a little more, ideal, but movie production times are at least a year for the most part. And this was shorter than some of the album production times are.
Yeah, true.
And that's crazy. And they were given a script, and they were given crash course in acting class. They literally filmed just the month of May. They stopped on May 27th. Yeah, it's an okay movie. It's fun to watch. Don't go into it thinking it's going to be Citizen Kane.
It is. It'll probably be another couple years before I watch this again.
Yeah, it's a rough watch, and I'll ask for everybody's ratings on it and the other movie. At the end of the episode, but anybody have any other thoughts on Kiss Meets Phantom of the Park?
I would just say if you haven't watched it in a while and you got an hour and a half to kill that you'll never ever get back, and you want a good laugh, and if you were lucky enough to see it when it first came out, go back and check it out because it'll put you right back there to your 10-year-old self as me or your 8-year-old self as BC or your 6-year-old self BB going to fucking bed at like 6 o'clock at night. It'll put you right back there. It really does. And like I said, the biggest thing for me was just remembering the anticipation of this movie. Just it's coming out. It's coming out.
There it is. Anybody else? Anything else to add?
I think
yeah, it's definitely something you're not going to watch in a while, but If you haven't, like Steve said, you haven't seen it in a while, check it out. It is a good laugh.
It's fun.
Yeah.
You laugh and
It
it
is.
takes you back.
It is.
It takes you back to a fun time.
You'll laugh and you'll scratch your head. What the fuck?
Now, what version would you recommend they watch?
I think that the Attack of the Phantoms comes across, makes a little more sense. Plus, there's way more Kiss music in it.
Which that bewilders me that it makes more sense because it made very little sense to me.
It does. Both of them are very convoluted, plot wise, and how the scenes go and shit. But because you seriously get from one thing to another, you're like, what is how did we end up here? But I would say for pure Kiss music, there's more Kiss in the Attack of the Phantoms because you have more Kiss music.
Okay.
I would say they're both cool. But especially if you're in the United States and you haven't seen that, look it up.
That's the version.
It's out there to be found.
It's on Kissology 2.
Yes,
that's the version.
That's the first one BC and I watched.
And that's the only version I've seen.
Okay.
So I'll have to check out the American version. But before we get into our hidden gems, it's my turn to pick the song that we're going to play in the middle. This is a local band from the Scranton, Pennsylvania area. They're called Ion Attraction. We've talked about them a couple times. I believe one of our guests talked about it. Scott, I think, mentioned them as his hidden gem one episode, one of the Kiss episodes, and I talked about them as well. But the song that we're going to play is "The Most Dangerous Game," the first track off of their 2012 album, The Factory. Check it out, and then we'll meet you right back here for the hidden gems.
See the forest fall.
Okay, that was Ion Attraction with The Most Dangerous Game. And we'll go into our hidden gems. Dad, what's your hidden gem this week?
Why, do I get to go first?
Yeah, that's why I said your name.
Awesome. All right, my hidden gem this week is a song, an instrumental song, actually. It's from Joe Satriani from the 2006 Satriani Live album. The song is called The Extremist from the 1992 album of the same name, The Extremist. Just a great kick-ass rocker, and what sets this apart from a lot of the Satriani stuff is there's of course the kick-ass riff, his band is a chugging machine, but there's also cool harmonica parts in here that he plays, and you can look up the video for it. It's just rocking, and it is so cool to see him fucking just jamming and then getting up and have the harmonica on the microphone and just rock to it. It's like when you see Billy Joel do Piano Man at the piano with the piano thing on it. Actually, he used to have it around his neck, right? And he looked like Anakin Skywalker on Return of the Jedi.
Oh, with the helmet?
With the helmet, right? But this one, it's on the microphone, and it's really cool. So check it out, The Extremist from Joe Satriani from Satriani Live 2006 album, or you can check out the title track on the 1992 album by the same name.
Cool. Joe Satriani, Satch. BC.
Snatch Boogie.
What's your hidden gem this week?
Since I was going through a lot of hair metal this past week or so, I came across these guys in the mix, Alley Cat Scratch. They're from San Francisco, back in the years of 1988. Good old sleaze metal.
Yeah.
If you like some sleaze, these guys have got some catchy songs.
It's not that kind of show.
Not that kind of sleaze. Like music sleaze.
Oh, okay.
You ran out of good.
I know. Stop it.
But some pretty catchy stuff.
What were they called? Alley Cat Scratch?
Alley Cat Scratch.
So we got Satch and Alley Cat Scratch.
Fever.
Have an action.
Oh, boy.
So,
BB,
reshuffle.
What's your hidden gem this week?
It's not going to fit in there, but
that's what she said.
I'm going to pick a song from a band called...
What's the song?
It's just a symbol for silence.
Yeah,
that's the name of the band.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick a song from a band. I can't. Why do I see this word and I can't even fucking say it now?
Nevada?
Yeah, I look at it and like my mind goes fucking blank.
What's the band?
Nevada Beach.
Nevada Beach. The band is called Nevada Beach. The song, it's off the album 0 Day that was released in 1990, and the song is called "Walking Dead."
Okay.
How the fuck did you blank on that?
I don't know.
Wow.
I know.
Maybe we got him out of rehab too early, BC.
Gotta go back.
It's tough. Yeah, Walking Dead song's awesome. Really cool. The lyricist, the singer really has this raspy, different voice. Really cool. A lot of great guitar work. I picked this song. I heard it the other day on one of those streaming hair metal apps that are out there, and
okay.
Was it on the Strip?
No, it was on Hard Rock Heaven, I think it was.
Okay, well that's really good. That's a good
And,
friggin' internet radio station.
That's a great one because they'll throw bands at you like you know. These guys released an album in 1990, and then they released one in 2016.
Wow!
So
quite the gap.
Yeah, very humongous gap. They're called Nevada Beach, and the song is "Walking Dead."
Nice. So my hidden gem is going to be a comic book. Kiss has had many comic books over the years. Only one of them has had their blood in it, and even that they think they might have actually
fucked up.
They think they might have actually gone to another comic.
It was an X-Men one or something.
Yeah, it was like an X-Men comic, or it wasn't the Kiss comic that I went to, which is funny.
Damn.
But the comic book I'm talking about is Kiss/Army of Darkness. It was a 5-issue miniseries. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Evil Dead series. Bruce Campbell plays Ash Williams. He has the chainsaw hand.
Yeah.
It's a crossover with that series. Basically, Kiss and Ash fighting demons. So
I remember that.
how can you go wrong with that? Kiss fighting demons, and actually the Destroyer, which we're going to be talking about in a little bit, is mentioned in the book. And one of the characters they go up against is a Mr. Blackwell, which a reference to the best album.
He is not well.
Reference to the best album. Okay, so those are our... I'm joking.
I know.
So those are our hidden gems. We got Joe Satriani with The Extremist. Alley Cat Scratch for BC.
Fever.
Nevada Beach, Walking Dead from BB. He had a little Abner Deveraux
Dylan
moment there.
Baby.
Thank you.
And I have Kiss/Army of Darkness, the comic book series. So let's get back into the show, and we'll talk about the next movie on our double feature, or Kiss double feature. And I want to make sure that I get the actual name of it right, because I've been calling it something different every time. So it's Scooby Doo, ! And Kiss, Rock and Roll Mystery. So this was released in 2015, July 10th on digital, and then July 21st on DVD and Blu-ray. We're now into the time where the digital and Blu-ray get released at different times. I don't know why, but it does. So
Does it still do that?
Yeah, it does. So this was written by Kevin Shinnick, who has written for Robot Chicken and a couple of other different shows. So he has a comedy background, which you can definitely tell in this movie. There are some pretty funny parts in it, and let's just get into the summary, I guess. Basically, there's this amusement park run by Kiss called Kiss World, and we open on these two ride operators, which are actually played by Jay and Silent Bob, Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes, which blew my mind because I'm like, this sounds like Kevin Smith, and I looked at the credits and it was Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes, so it's Jay and Silent Bob. And they're attacked by...
So Silent Bob wasn't silent then?
So they're attacked by this specter called the Crimson Witch. And she keeps yelling, "Give me rock!" As the ride's going, and they get their picture
rock,
taken.
Rock, BC, rock!
And they bring it up to the runner, the guy that runs the whole place, Manny Goodman, who is voiced by Gary Marshall, randomly. I don't know how they got the cast they got, but like Gary Marshall, the famous producer, is the guy that runs Kiss World, and he's like, "Oh, don't worry about it." But then he's like, "Okay, get me the best mystery solvers ever," and we hard cut to the mystery machine, and we see they're going to Kiss World, and it looks like the three people that are into it are Daphne, Scooby, and Shaggy. Velma's kind of going along with it. Fred wants nothing to do with this fucking trip. He just wants to listen to his favorite band, the Ascot 5, with their song "Don't Touch My Ascot," which is sung by Kiss. And it's really funny because it took me a second, and I'm like, that kind of sounds like Paul. Daphne has the weirdest mega crush on Paul, and they don't call them by their name. It's Starchild, Demon, Catman, and Spaceman. So they don't refer to them by their
BC, don't
their
touch
names.
my ascot. Jesus.
But,
keep your ascot to yourself.
But they get there, and Daphne's like, "Oh yeah, there's a mystery we need to solve there." But once they get to the park, the head of security, named Delilah Domino, the first of many Kiss reference names, of course after modern day Delilah and Domino, voiced by, funnily enough, an alum of NCIS. She plays Abby on NCIS, Polly Perrette, if anybody's a big NCIS fan.
I've never, ever watched an episode of that show.
Oh, really? Huh. Interesting. Well,
there's like a million of them, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a ton. So she stops the gang. It's like, "Oh, the park's closed. You can't come in here because, we got some problems." And they're supposed to have a Kiss concert going on as well. But, they're closing the park, and Fred's like, "Hey, Daphne, I thought you said that we were asked to come here." And Daphne's like, "No, I just wanted to come to Kiss World because I wanted to see Paul and hook up with them." And they
train on the band.
And they decide, since now there's an actual mystery happening, they're going to sneak into the park. So they sneak into the park, and Scooby and Shaggy start doing this, the attraction where you squirt the water gun into the faces and the balloons blow up. And they think Gene, who appears out of nowhere, is one of the faces, so they squirt him, piss him right off, get off on the wrong foot with them. And then Kiss just appears, and they have a big entrance, which is really funny because their manager, Chip Magoo, who's played by Doc McGee, their actual manager, comes in with a broom and push brooms. This costs money. This costs money, guys. Which his character is fucking hilarious because he's always coming in with all these different Kiss products. I wrote down all of them. The Kiss toilet is one of them. There was Kiss binoculars for $24.99. There's a Kiss souvenir photo for $49.99. Kiss cakes with Spaceman sprinkles for $19.99. There was the Kiss flashlight for $45.95. And most interestingly, Kiss handcuffs for $69.99. I was like, wow, throw that in there, huh? But Kiss shows up, and they're the guys that were actually called to solve the mystery, because apparently they're really big mystery solvers, which that's crazy. But we then get an awesome opening sequence to Rock and Roll Night, and we're getting the re-recorded versions of all the songs, but it's really cool. I love how it's a mix of the first Scooby Doo like opening theme and like all the shots from there, but also with Kiss thrown in and all their iconic covers being recreated. So cool. Really awesome sequence. I love how much Fred hates Paul. Like, he can't fucking stand him. And Paul keeps calling him Frank.
Frank.
And, and like,
Fred.
And the thing that's evident to me right off is that Gene and Paul have gotten so much better at acting. it's so good. And Paul's like, hey, we gotta let them join the mystery. And Gene's like, oh, what do you see a redhead in your future? And Paul's like, yeah, definitely. Well, maybe not that way. and he's like, and they're talking about how like his eye never lies and his eye can see the future. So we're bringing up the eye again.
I hope he can hear too.
And then Paul says one of the best lines where he goes, "Let's hit it, fellow mystery solvers." I love how he says that line. And then they disappear, and the manager's cleaning up the confetti again.
You guys gotta stop doing this.
Each member has their own section of the park. Gene has the Brimstone Barbecue. Tommy has Electric Alley. Eric has the Whirling Wildcats. And then Paul's is the Dynasty Star Ferris Wheel. Woo! And then there's the Destroyer roller coaster, which is closed off, and that becomes important later on. So they're looking around, they're solving the clues, and they do a costume change. The costume change, actually, do you guys know about the anime Sailor Moon? So it's about these like super girls that transform. The costume changes are literally shot for shot a remake of that. Like it's literally the same exact movements as Sailor Moon. And this is going over all of your heads, but it's really funny that it's the same exact thing. They have a person that does all of their effects, and her name is what, Dad?
Her name is Shandy Strutter.
Shandy Strutter, yep. Which another awesome Kiss mashup. And we're setting up the suspects at this point. We're getting the people that could be the Crimson Witch.
And her helpers are Christine
and Beth. And then we get this fortune teller named Chikara, and she's all doom and gloom. And it's like, oh, they're going to be stealing the Detroit Rock, which is a black diamond. And she wants to, and like they talk about this backstory about how these people in the land of Kisteria banished the Destroyer with these musical crystals that were combined into this magical rock, which is the Detroit Rock that's in the song Detroit Rock City. And it's a black diamond, and apparently the Crimson Witch wants to unleash Destroyer on the world. So they all split up into different groups, and the groupings are great. But before they do that, I'm sorry I'm skipping around all over the place here, but Scooby and Shaggy run into the Crimson Witch, and it's a really awesome sequence where they're going through a log flume that Shout It Out Loud plays, and then they're chased by like stuffed bunnies that are possessed by the Crimson Witch. And of course, as soon as the Crimson Witch is about to destroy them, Kiss comes in with their superpowers. And let me tell you, the action sequences in this movie are a million times better than the ones in Phantom of the Park. This is what Phantom of the Park was meant to be, I think. And like they literally are superheroes. And it's funny because as soon as the Crimson Witch runs away and Kiss flies off, the rest of the gang comes. It's like, oh, what are you guys doing? And Shaggy and Scooby are like, the Kiss they're superheroes and stuff like that. So then they split off into different groups, and Paul goes with Daphne and Fred. Velma goes with Spaceman, and Peter and Gene are stuck with Shaggy and Scooby. Gene fucking hates Shaggy and Scooby, and it's really funny. But the funniest things for me are the Paul with Fred and Daphne.
Yeah.
Because Daphne loves Starchild so much, and they take has Fred take a picture. And Fred sabotages it with his thumb. So, like, his thumb is covering Paul. So then, Paul paints the picture of them together and puts the thumb over Fred. And Fred's like, but you painted it.
And right around that time, he says he puts the X in X-ray.
Yep. And he's like, I see it with my special eye. And Fred has the line of, my nephew had a special eye. I pick what we called conjunctivitis. So they go down this trap door, and Paul calls Fred Frank. Not now, Frank. And they go to where Shandy Strutter is, and they discover, like these things, only I have access to them because I have this ID. So we're setting up Shandy as the maybe she's the Crimson Witch. And then we cut to Spaceman and Velma, and I love Spaceman's line of Star Child seems to think they're okay. Plus they got a talking dog, which is wild. Tommy seems like he's having fun with it. I like their thing, and they talk about the Rocket Hysteria, and they get the backstory of that. And then we get to see basically Shaggy and Scooby are tasked with setting up the stage because I guess
Eric puts them to work.
And Eric's probably the most stilted of the four KISS members acting wise, but he still does a good job. I still enjoy it. And eventually the Crimson Witch comes back and basically sucks them all into like a demon dimension. Shaggy and Scooby get sucked in. And then they use the Ferris wheel as like a portal, and a giant guitar ship comes out of nowhere and gets created. Les Paul. And they get sucked in and into this other dimension, which the art style is very much like Jack Kirby, who created all like the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man, and like with Stan Lee. Well, not Spider-Man, but like the Fantastic Four, X-Men. No, like Stan Lee.
Oh, okay.
And it's I think it's I Was Made for Loving You.
I Was Made for Loving You.
And it's a really fucking awesome sequence as they're like flying, trying to get to the Crimson Witch and trying to get the diamond back. And then they get to the Hysteria land, and they meet the civilians of it. And the Elder is played by Penny Marshall. So you get both of the Marshals in there. And Fred
Turner.
And then Fred's like, you know what, I'm in. And he has his face painted, and he has like a little crescent moon under his eye. And everybody's like, dude, who hit you in the face?
Yeah. It's a black eye.
And it's really funny. And then they're like, and Gene teaches Scooby and Shaggy how to breathe fire. They have to swallow their fears to breathe fire. They have a little fight with harpies and stuff, but then the Crimson Witch gets away with the diamond and manages to awake Destroyer. So then they're like, okay, we gotta destroy the Destroyer, and we gotta do it with the power of music. Like, overload him with too much rock and roll. And Paul's like, we can never do too much rock and roll. And Velma's like, look, you guys are KISS. If anybody could do too much rock and roll, it's you guys. This movie kind of cuts KISS down a peg a little bit, and it's kind of funny. And then they give the mystery gang the keys to their ship that they call the KISS Craft. And Fred's like, hey, we got a car called the Mystery Machine. And then Paul's like, that's great, Frank, but we're running out of time.
That's great, Frank.
So then they have a really awesome space chase with Detroit Rock City playing. The band's gotten back to the venue, and they're trying to draw the Destroyer back. And then they end up basically destroying the Destroyer. The gang gets crowd surfed into the crowd, and they think it was all hallucination. We find out that the Crimson Witch was actually Delilah Domino. She had wanted to pawn off the diamond, apparently. And a little reference to Johnny Quest, because she got her stuff from Quest Laboratories, which I thought was pretty cool. But they end the movie with like kind of was it real? And then Scooby and Shaggy see them fly off, and it's like, oh, well, we'll just not tell them. So that was KISS and Scooby Doo and KISS, Rock and Roll Mystery. What did you guys think of that? BC.
I liked it. I mean, compared to the 1978 movie, there, a lot of. I laugh a lot about it. I mean, it's music-wise, I think it was production. It's just funnier. I mean, the funny like Daphne and Paul, like it didn't for Frank. He gets bent out of shape. I mean, and then just the little KISS digs throughout it. Not digs, I don't think, because like the plugs for 19. You know, I just thought that was hysterical. And then that scene you talked about, they had to get Paul's paintings in there. You know what I mean? Like you could tell KISS definitely had more of an input in this movie than say the last movie. And then I like when Fred started flirting with Sandy Strutter, and Daphne get all bent out of shape.
The shoe was on the other foot
She
then.
was on her
Right?
foot then. I just chuckled at that. I said, that is so true. I mean, overall, I guess, like I said, it just flowed better.
Yeah.
And you followed it better. I mean, it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
Overall, I mean, I like this a lot better. I would watch this. If this was on, I'd probably sit down and watch it. Okay.
Cool.
And I like Scooby Doo.
Yeah. BB.
Yeah, I agree with BC. I definitely watch this again. I like the names all taken from different songs.
Different songs and shit.
I like how Doc McGee kind of looks like Doc McGee, and he kind of plays that role.
Magoo.
This stuff is expensive.
Yeah.
We gotta stop doing this every time we come in some.
And when they do like the intro, they you kind of see like some certain album covers, like Love Gun was there,
Yeah.
Dynasty was there. That was cool. The one thing I thought was kind of funny, and I wish I kind of wrote it down a little bit more in the movie where it is. And Tommy Thayer or Spaceman, that's another thing. Like they're like why can't even with the Phantom in the Park, why can't they be Paul and Gene? Why do they have to be Demon and Starchild? Like they're there, it's their voices.
Yeah.
In the cartoon, it's their voices. Why can't they be called Paul and Gene? Why
Because that's what they're selling.
They're
They're
the
selling that we
Okay.
could
They're
be
their characters.
that they could
That's
be
their
anybody.
superhero
They're selling. That's
this?
what they're. That's the
laying
meal you're being fed.
They're
Okay.
laying the groundwork.
Gotcha.
But in the Phantom of the Park, Attack of the Phantoms, whatever you want to call it, they do refer to them as. I don't think you hear them call a spaceman in the movies that I can think of. But you do hear Catman, you do hear Starchild, you do
Curly.
hear Demon.
You do hear Curly.
Curly.
Yeah.
But
Hiya, Curly.
you hear them, but in the other in the movie, they do call each other by their names. But in this one, you just get the character.
In the American version of
No. In the Scooby Doo one, you get the characters. You don't get any names.
I don't remember hearing any
I don't
names
think because Gene
Phantom
called
of the Park.
Gene was
Yeah,
like
you do.
Starchild.
Yeah, you do.
But Gene was like Starchild.
No, but I'm almost positive you hear the names. I know you do.
Okay.
Because when they're sitting in the chairs and they're saying they really think it's you, Gene. Remember?
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
That may
Okay.
be the only part then. Yeah.
Yeah,
Starchild.
but I think
That's
they
true.
do say their names except for I don't know if they say Ace though, but I'm pretty sure they say the names.
Okay.
But like even in the park, you hear tonight see Ace,
Kiss.
Gene, Peter,
Kiss.
Paul. You hear that in one of the advertisements at least in the park.
Yeah.
You hear the names, but this movie, the Scooby Doo one, this is the meal
It's
you're being
just-
fed.
yeah.
They are characters. They are not
Right.
individuals.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was actually one part. Tommy Thayer said something about the album Love Gun going from like
Oh, yeah.
platinum to gold. He was so happy. I'm like, you know, you
Yeah,
have
you're-
a fucking album.
that-
You're
yeah.
not even getting royalties from
Yeah.
it, and you're
I was
happy
thinking
about
the same
it.
thing. Yeah. Yeah. She was like,
But it's the character.
because it was like, yeah. The only thing she got wrong was saying that Love Gun was going to go gold. It went platinum.
Yeah.
But that's their way of dissing Ace the fuck out of there.
Well, and I think it's in this continuity. It's basically just been those characters. Those are the characters. Like they haven't been people playing the character. It's just been
Right,
the
it's
characters.
the character. Right.
Yeah, gotcha.
So that makes sense that he would, because that was who pwelayed on Love Gun in this universe. And how about having a free concert at Kiss World? Like
We're definitely in fantasy
And it was
world.
general admission.
and it was Doc McGee that was saying that it was going to be free.
No, he didn't know it was free.
No, it was because the owner of the park was.
He's the one that said it was
that's
free.
Right, that's right.
And he's like, "Oh, I need my heart
Yeah.
machine or something." He says.
yeah, the Kiss defibrillator.
Yeah. But they didn't put a price on that though.
No, they did not. You can't put a price on.
You can't put a price on defibrillators.
Yeah.
I
For
just thought
$1,250.99, you can get a Kiss defibrillator.
I just thought that was hysterical.
Yeah.
Throwing it in there, boom, 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 boom.
Dad, what'd you think?
All right, for years, it's well known out there between my family and friends that I absolutely fucking hate Charlie Brown and Peanuts. Hate it. I think it's fucking so stupid. You're right, it is stupid.
No, I'm saying it's stupid. That
I
you
fucking hate it. I hate Charlie Brown.
And Pigpen should take
I
a
was
bath.
and I was actually under the impression for a long time that I was not a fan of Scooby Doo. However, I watched this fucking movie. I was fucking dying laughing. And this actually took me right back to Saturday morning cartoons watching this shit. I was like, how the fuck did I think I fucking hated Scooby Doo? I fucking love this shit.
Yeah.
And this movie I'll tell you what. I watched it. I watched it like 3 times. I watched it, and I was like, holy fuck. The opening sequences are fucking phenomenal. They show, they do Rock and Roll Over, they do Love Gun, they do Dynasty. If you notice, they even do the 4 faces in a row, how they are on the Dynasty album.
They do Destroyer.
They do Destroyer, and they make reference to Dress to Kill when they show them with the Black Diamond, the picture. And they there's a whole bunch of, they do Kiss Alive. There's a picture of them, Kiss Alive is on there. And the action sequences, Dylan, you're right, they are fucking kick-ass. And fucking the Catman, Eric Singer, is bad-ass on this fucking movie. When he does the attacks and shit, like when they're fighting them in the amusement park, it's crazy. It's cool. And you get the, you don't get the... You don't get a lion roar, BC. You get like the. You know what it sounds like? It sounds like the Penn State Nittany Lion. Like when they have that when they score. It sounds just like that. It's cool as fuck. And Tommy has a lot of lines in this movie.
He does.
He really does. He's got. I mean, he may have as many. Paul's got the most. Gene's got, but like they do the modulation of Gene voice again. Like, I
don't think they do. I think it's just Gene.
It's not the modulation. But like,
which I think works.
It works a little bit, but it gets annoying sometimes. It grates on my nerves a little bit. But like the Eric character, and how about the ride? If there was an amusement park that had these rides, cool. Like the fucking when they're on the drum things, that was cool looking with the drums,
with the drums
flicking around and shit. That was cool. And the flume ride was kick ass. That was I'd go on that any day. I'd ride that motherfucker all day long. I like there was a lot of thought put into this movie.
Yeah.
And my theory is that I think that this should have been fucking reversed. I think that Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park should have been a fucking cartoon. It would have been so much better, right? And then they could have did this. I mean, it would have been cost like mega bucks to do this Scooby Doo thing as was a CGI? Is that what they call it now with the green screen and all that shit?
Yeah.
But like they could have pulled off this stuff a lot easier nowadays.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Than they did back then.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So I mean, you could have actually had Ace fighting Ace, not Ace fighting the African American dude with the fucking Ace makeup on. You know what I mean? Or the Peter guy that's fighting the anorexic Peter guy. You know what I mean? And so, but I fucking thought this movie was great. The scene where they launch out into the ship and doing "I Was Made for Loving You." If you watch, it looks like they're playing the songs. It really does. It's and I love just I fucking love this movie. This one I will absolutely fucking watch. Not every day, not every week, but I remember when this came on, I'm like, it's gonna be so fucking stupid. And I honestly did not watch this movie until like last week.
Yeah,
and it's been out since 2015, and and I'm hanging my head in shame, calling myself a Kiss fan. Yes, I am at this point, but I fucking love this movie, and I thought that Delilah Domino, I thought she was like Shannon Tweed, like a bitch version of Shannon Tweed. That's who I instantly thought of when I saw her.
Okay,
when I saw the character, I instantly thought that, but I love the. Paul's lines are great. I mean, he definitely. But it's much. I'm gonna say it's got to be much easier to act in quotations, just talking, than being behind the camera and in front of the camera, and you have boom perform. You know what I mean? Because you could do them lines 1,000 times just recording in the studio. Because this is like the 6th time we've done this episode tonight. And so like shit like that, I fucking absolutely love it. And I think Tommy's like attacks and shit are cool. The fight sequences are great. I love the references to all the Elder, and there was one line something about the Elder or something like that. And
it's that she's not the younger.
Yeah,
she's certainly not the younger.
This is my fucking pants when that came out. I was like,
I think Velma said that.
And if you look at the Destroyer ride, it's the same fucking volcano as the head comes out of.
All the buildings were like,
and
they made mention of that.
And I think it's cool, and I like how that you can't start the fucking. The Kiss wagon or whatever the fuck it is without the keys. You know what I mean? It can fly through multiple dimensions, but you still need the keys to start the motherfucker. That just it was cool, and I like And did you notice that the Kiss smelling salts? I don't know what the price on them was, Dylan. You missed that one.
Yeah, I forgot.
Kiss smelling salts did not work, but the churro worked.
Yep, the churro.
To wake those guys up.
It was $15.95.
Okay, $15.95 for the Kiss smelling salts. They didn't work, so don't buy them, you guys. It's not worth it. I liked when they were in the catacombs fighting the Kiss monsters, and they came alive and stuff, and like I think they were hiding in Tommy's crotch. I think when they were hiding from the witch, because it was cool too when they went into the green room with all the food. Look at all the important people that were here. The pizza man, and then they're going down and you see the witch, and then they're like in the witch, and like And I think it was just fun. It was just a fun movie. If you don't come away from this without a sense of like that was just fun as fuck. You have no sense of humor. You are not I won't say not a Kiss fan, but not someone that kind of gets what they're trying to get out of this. Mm. But like I said with BB before, I said they are feeding you that it's not Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, Tommy Thayer, Eric Singer. It's the Demon, the Star Child, the Spaceman, the Catman. But like, fucking, did I say the Catman was badass on that motherfucker? Man, he's like flying through space and flashing. Wow. The Nittany Lion was roaring like freaking crazy. Cool. And you go back to what BC said. Why is Gene roaring like a lion? That's a cat, BC. That's a cat. That's not a demon. They could have gave him like a dragon roar or something like that. Not a cat. Not a lion. They should have got the guy with the whip like the lion tamer. But I thought it was fun. I got away from that movie thinking this is cool, and I take back my hatred of Scooby Doo. Fucking absolutely love it. And like I said, and these two movies just like put me back to my childhood. Really, they really did. And I think that the Kiss Scooby Doo Rock and Roll Mystery was very cool. And as a cartoon, Daphne's probably the hottest cartoon character out there. And I still want to punch Velma in the face. She's aggravating, but it was also cool too at the end where Velma's like, I told you there was a illogical explanation for everything, and then she's like, well, which is kind of boring too, which she actually admits. But then, like, of course, when all the crazy shit happens, Frank, Velma, and Daphne, I'm sorry, Fred, are gone off. And all the crazy shit happens when it's just Scooby and Shaggy that see it. And then it's like, should we tell them? And then they're like, no, like, well, we don't want to rock her world. Yeah. And that was cool. But then no one mentioned that when they capture Domino, Delilah, I would have got away with it. Was there a few snooping kiss?
I mean kids.
And I thought that was really cool. And because, like, she said kiss, and then she went off the screen, and then comes back. I mean kids. I thought that was cool. And I was wondering when that was going to come into it. Yep. But it was fun. I had a great time. And like I said, it just brought me right back into the thing. And, you didn't get any of the, we've got to get out of here, or the, ack. You didn't hear ack once in this movie. And I'll tell you what, and I think there's, I don't know if it's Tommy or Shaggy. There's one part in this movie where one of them goes, fuck. I don't know what I was watching it last night, and I'm like, they said fuck. I know they did. But I forget what, it was either Shaggy or Tommy. Watch the movie again, and it was like during one of the parts, I want to say it was when the log flew maybe, and Shaggy goes, like one of them, they literally say, fuck. I'm telling you, fucking watch it. They do. Because I was sitting there, I was like, well, oh my God, they said fuck. And I'm like, they did say fuck. But I forget what part it was. So fuck is in there.
Pixar didn't happen.
I'm telling you, watch it. For you guys out there listening, watch that movie, and I have to watch it because they do say fuck in that.
This movie was so much fun, and not only was Kiss getting a little like punches thrown their way, the Scooby Gang kind of was as well. I mean, Fred especially gets fucking pummeled this movie. Poor Fred.
Speaking of getting pummeled, Paul, the Star Child, gets his fucking ass kicked in fucking Kisteria.
And I love how
he's like holding his arm like I thought I could do it by myself.
Gene's like he did a great job to like getting the destroyer single-handedly. I was like, wow, I thought they were going to show Paul saving the day, and I'm really surprised they didn't. But I was glad they didn't. Yeah. But poor Fred, God, I love all the Ascot 5 mentions. Like everyone's like, oh wow, usually you see this kind of crowd running towards the band, and he's like, not at an Ascot 5 concert. Everybody walks orderly and single file.
Orderly and single file.
And it's really funny because the man that voices Fred, Frank Welker, has been voicing Fred from the very beginning. He's like one of the greatest voice actors ever. He also
from when it was
from the original Scooby.
The guy's got to be 80 years old.
He's up there. He also voices Scooby. But like Frank Welker, he is currently 73 years old. But he did Megatron and Transformers and like he's Dr. Claw and Inspector Gadget. He's Garfield in a lot of the Garfield shows.
I hate that voice, Garfield. Ugh.
But he's in everything. Like if you look at an animated show, he's in it. But like he's been Fred since the beginning, which is really cool. So kudos to him.
Well, and the guy that does Shaggy, he's the guy that did Matthew, one on the
live action movie.
movie.
Matthew Lillard. Yeah, I love Scooby Doo. I think Scooby Doo is a fantastic series. I used to watch like the Scooby Doo meets Batman and Robin special that happened, and like they were like met the Harlem Globetrotters and all that. I grew up on Scooby. I loved it. And if this came out when I was a kid, this would have been my favorite movie ever. This movie is so fucking funny. It's funnier than you think it's going to be.
It is. I came away from this. I just a big smile on my face.
You go
with this
and thinking, cartoon, Scooby Doo cartoon, but it's funny. It really is.
All the jokes land. I love your tongue must be this long to ride the ride.
Yeah. Well, yours is long enough for both of us to ride this.
I just like the band comes off really well on this. They seem like they're having a fun time. They're acting really well. The acting is so much better.
Curmudgeonly though.
Yeah, but that's he's the demon. I don't like this. Like it's fun. It's great. The funniest parts though stand out, even though it's kind of creepy that Starchild and Daphne are kind of a thing because he's like millions of years older than her. Kind of creepy.
Starchild is timeless.
But
he's the Starchild.
The scenes with Starchild, Daphne, and Fred are the fucking best scenes in this movie.
I like when he jumps down into the Paul, like goes down into the thing, and like Fred's like I've never went down his ladder before or something like that.
Yes.
Splat on the bottom.
What's that last
Poor Fred. Like Fred really and everybody always makes fun of Fred because he's the most bland, but like he deserves a little bit. Like he even when he was trying to drive the Kiss craft, he couldn't get the key in. And like, come on, make Fred a little more confident.
I like BC brought it up too when he was hooking up with the science chick. Oh, it's good to see another Chemi, she says, I think. A fellow Chemi. And like then and he's like, oh, like kind of like fuck you, Daphne. Daphne, and then she's like all pissed off. Then it's
she has to look behind him like I'm like
but
what guy has not seen that look?
Right. But of course, Paul's got to throw his painting shit in there. But it fit. But it was cool though.
It's so fucking funny.
Like the big.
Oh, it looks like my thumb got the way, but you painted it.
Oh yeah.
This like the jokes are so well crafted. Like it's not like raunchy humor. It's like funny stuff.
Right.
It's not. Except for the effort.
It's not that crude humor that I hate.
Yeah, it's like it's smart humor. Like there's funny jabs at the band, like the low hanging fruit of them merchandising everything, sure. But I love the fact that Chip Magoo is cleaning up after every time they make the entrance.
Because he's reloading it back in those shooters.
Yeah, it's like
this costs money.
It was so much fun to watch this. I had a blast watching this movie. Like there was a smile on my face from start to finish.
And I'm going to say it again. Catman was kick ass on this movie.
The action in this movie was so good.
I think they made up for that with the lack of lines that Eric had. They made him so badass in this movie.
Yeah.
But like if you notice, every time they showed them, they had the colors.
Yeah.
The green for the Catman, the purple for Paul, the blue for the Spaceman, and the red for the Demon. So like everything was like, I think in line as it should be, as opposed to the train wreck that they made in 1978.
And the mythology that they made, like, kind of really works for the band. I think it's pretty cool. It's kind of a stretch to just make it the Detroit rock. They could have just did Black Diamond. That's fine. But, like having to. And I love it's like I thought Detroit Rock City was about rock and roll, and Tommy's like, well, yeah, I guess it could be about that too.
Like it's funny. The only thing that really didn't fit was the Crimson Witch. Like, why couldn't it have been like the
Crimson Witch was
God
was
of Thunder or something?
The Goddess of Thunder would have been cool.
Yeah, it didn't fit in with the mythos. No, I agree.
But one thing I was waiting for the whole movie that I didn't get to see was when she put the black diamond in the thing, and then the volcano really started to erupt, and the guy was coming up. It kind of looks like Doom, like in that thing.
And
right?
you know who
I was waiting for them to come up over the top and do the
Yeah.
Destroyer Destroyer album cover pose, and then like fly away.
Did you know who voiced the Destroyer?
Darius Rucker.
Darius Rucker.
Yeah,
which is fucking like the people they got for this movie are it's crazy.
It is.
I think the only one they were really missing for this would have been like Jack Black.
Yeah, but they got Kevin Smith randomly for like the first scene. I'm like, what the? But the action in this movie was so good. Like if this was on an animated show, I would have like hardcore followed this show every day, every week. Like it was really, really good, and I loved all the music sequences. They worked really well with the things. Unlike Phantom of the Park, everything gelled. It's a better version of Phantom of the Park, and that's why I wanted to pair these two movies together. So what's everybody's favorite and least favorite scenes? BC.
Paul Stanley. I mean, it's naturally funny. It's just, I mean, they flirted with Daphne and Star Child in the flesh. It's just the whole thing just gelled perfectly. I think.
Yeah.
It was funny. And musically it was way better.
Mm-hmm. Now let me ask you guys: did you guys guess who the Crimson Witch was before it was revealed? Be honest. No, Dad.
I honestly didn't even think about it.
No, but they even had like the little scene where it's like, okay, here's our suspects.
Only to the suspects.
How does the?
I don't know. I honestly, even then, I wasn't. I was just.
Because you find yourself looking at.
I was just locked in the movie, just enjoying it, and I wasn't like trying to solve it. I wasn't.
Okay.
No,
I wasn't.
No.
But it's the rock and roll mystery.
No, I know that,
Yeah,
but
but
I was
you're-
just. I think I was kind of
Hooked
in
on the
shock
rock and
of how fucking cool I thought it was, as to how lame I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's why I wasn't really trying to solve it. I was just like trying to
I thought it'd be a
check
character-
everything out and like, oh my god, I got to remember this and I got to remember that. But like, it was just so cool, and I honestly was not trying to solve the mystery.
Yeah.
I was not.
This could have been a really easy cash grab, but they put thought into it. They put heart into it.
They did, and I don't remember. I remember when it came out, but I don't remember it being like a big
huge
push.
thing. Yeah.
I remember coming out and like, oh God, it's cartoons really.
Yeah, I was
That's the
I was
first thing that came to my mind.
I was
Are you going to
anti.
cartoons already?
And let that be a lesson to you, because there's a lot of quality cartoons out there. Don't
no.
just write off cartoons as a child, like a
I
children's
just thought
entertainment.
it's Kiss,
Cash grab.
cash grab,
Yeah.
and okay, we're good.
And that's
Scooby Doo
understandable.
cartoon.
That's understandable.
I mean, they did get my cash. I bought it, but I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
It's really good.
After
good to have in your collection.
After 4 years of it being out.
Your collection with a K.
Yeah.
BB, what are your favorite parts? Least favorite?
I thought the Paul painting was kind of funny, and that's pretty
Oh, it's
true
my
to
thumb
life.
got in
You
there.
know,
You
that
painted
was
it.
funny. That was
But you
funny.
painted it.
And just the opening sequence, like the opening credits or whatever, like intro, when you have all the different versions of the album covers, and then like you said, like the retro Scooby Doo scenes when it started. That was cool. I don't even think I even had any scene that I didn't like. I really enjoyed the whole movie. Like even how like it kind of like it was always like that. The roller coaster was like seemed like it was like the nucleus of both movies. How it kind of like came together. There was really nothing. I can't even think of this and this and this blah blah. Like just like the Tommy Thayer, but we already talked about that. But there's really there was nothing about this movie I didn't like.
Cool. Deb.
I'm on the BB train here. I loved it, and I think I loved it even more because I thought it was going to suck.
Mm-hmm.
And I really did. I give Dylan all the credit in the world. He wanted to do this type of episode for the longest time, and I'm like, I don't want to do it. I just don't want to fucking do it. I don't want to watch that movie. I think it's stupid. And thank you for pushing me to do it. And
question. What did you watch first? Did you watch The Phantom in the Park or the cartoon?
I watched the Phantom of the Park first because BC and
you know how it was so bad. You couldn't get any better than bad.
I think that made it even better.
I
really do.
I think
because
you need
BC
to watch
and I watched the Attack of the
Phantom
Phantoms from the Kissology when we were at work the one day.
Yeah.
And that was in between the 20 calls we had that day, BC. We had at least 30 calls that day. So we watched it in between calls. But, like, that's the first that I had watched any of that in the longest time. And then I was, like, dreading watching the Scooby Doo video. So, like, the one night, like, everybody's gone to bed. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to fucking watch this movie. I had a couple beers. I was watching it. And, like, my wife came out and said, I'm like, I can watch on this movie. And, like, but it was, like, I was like, I fucking love it. Like, my favorite scenes are definitely the opening scene and the interaction of the fight scene and the log flume when they're getting chased. That's just badass.
Yeah.
And I love how each guy had their separate type of attack too.
Yeah.
You know? And like that log flume ride was cool as fuck. Like you had the guitars with all the sparks and lightning and shit and how about the fire waterfall.
Yeah, and then it stops
out
right
of
before you
Gene's
get to
mouth,
it.
and then like when they get through, like and they get out, and it like just stops and they go through. I mean, that was cool. It was just cool, and I don't think there was the only thing that I really kind of didn't. I thought the Jakar character was kind of a waste.
She was like the big red herring.
Yeah, because like it didn't really have anything to do with anything, just to prove that she was like smoking crack or something.
Well, like she gave the back story to the Hysteria stuff.
Yeah,
like,
she was more of a background thing, but
yeah.
Other than that, I thought the park owner, the Gary Marshall guys, he was kind of hard to understand at times. Like he had a mouthful of marbles at times.
Yeah,
when he was speaking. The Chip Magoo was funny. And they didn't say how much Kiss batteries were either because he said he didn't load up on Kiss batteries when they were down in the catacombs.
Yeah.
And but it was just fun. It was just really fun. It took me back to Saturday morning cartoons, watching it. You had your bowl of cereal and you're in front of the TV. You watched everything.
Yep.
And it's sad now that that's not a thing. It really is because you can pull up anything at any time on any TV and or computer. But then that was your ritual. I would get, Saturday mornings when I was like 9-10 years old, I'd get up in the morning, I'd have my cereal during the fall. I'd have my cereal, watch cartoons, and then we would have our bowling league.
What was the train thing?
Conjunction Junction. What's your function?
Yeah.
The Schoolhouse Rock.
Schoolhouse Rock on ABC.
I'm just a Bill.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean that was like you said Saturday.
Yeah, I mean that was your Saturday, and like from like September to probably March, it was get up, watch cartoons. And our bowling team was myself, Dave St. Ledger, Rob Jones, Raul Moffat, and every week one of our mothers would drive. Yeah, but like that was my life when I was a kid. Like you get up, watch cartoons, go bowling. You know what I mean? It was your ritual. It was what you did.
Not that we're old, we wish it was our ritual.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We still have no way to do what we can do.
I kind of had that as well a little bit, but we had VHS at that point, so I would be watching the thing. But there was a lot of I loved Saturday morning cartoons. They were so fucking.
We used to put Thomas the Train on, and Dylan would sit and watch that fucker for hours.
Oh yeah,
and I would too because they were cool.
Oh,
you weren't
cross? You weren't cross when you were watching it?
I was cross a couple times.
Huh?
She's looking for her mother. Yeah, because you had George Carlin, Ringo Starr narrating
and Alec
Baldwin was in the movie. He was in the movie with Fonda,
but he was on the TV
with Peter
too.
Fonda.
He was on TV too.
Yeah.
Here's George Carlin.
Yeah, George Carlin doing the
children's show.
Great. Yeah. This movie was so fantastic. I had so much fun watching it. I loved during Detroit Rock City during the like Tommy basically projects a giant Tommy to fight the monster as they're going through, and then the rest of the band joins in and they all form. It's like so cool, and it's almost like it's making the parts of the song important to the action, and it's adding to it, and it's doing a really awesome job of it. I mean, I could nitpick how they didn't really blend the supernatural parts with the mundane ending of it, where like she was just pawning off the Black Diamond. That was a little sloppy, but that was really the only part that didn't gel as well as everything else because the rest of the movie is fantastic. The pairings were great. They all worked really well as foils to each other. I mean, I obviously love the Daphne, Fred, and Starchild scenes.
That was fantastic.
But the action scenes are so good, especially the ones to, like, I Was Made for Loving You. Such a really cool way to use that song. Like, opening up a portal, going on a fucking guitar ship, and, like, flying after this Crimson Witch. It's so cool. It's so awesome. I loved it so much. I recommend this movie highly to anybody at this podcast. If you think it's, hey, Scooby Doo, I'm not watching that shit.
It's fun.
It's so much fun. Like, even if you don't like Kiss, you're going to get a kick out of it because they kind of make fun of Kiss. And they don't take themselves too seriously. Yeah, they're superheroes.
For a change.
But like, they do make fun of themselves. And I love when a band can do that.
Mm-hmm.
I hate when a band is super serious and like can't look at how silly some of the stuff is. And they say it's like, yeah, we sell a lot of stuff with our names on it.
But do you think that they would make this movie right now?
Kiss?
Yes.
Probably not.
I don't think so.
I don't think they would.
I think that they...
Today?
Yeah. I think that they have lost that fun factor right now. I really do.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I think there's so much going on with the end of the road and everything. I don't feel the funness in Kiss right now. I really don't. I just don't feel it, especially after seeing the mailed-in performance that they did in Hershey. I don't know. Hopefully that they're on their break right now, and I think they will actually be on the Kiss cruise by the time you guys hear this. And I hope that the Kiss cruise this year kicks ass. We're not going this year, and like I said before, I felt that we got fucking ripped off last year on the Kiss cruise, and I felt that the best part of the Kiss cruise should be Kiss, and they fell like 4th or 5th for me last year. So that's why I'm not going this year. Plus, sorry, Peter, the fucking Darkness is on there. I hate them. But I don't know. I just don't feel fun Kiss right now. I don't. I love them. I always will. But I don't feel that fun factor for them right now. I'll go back. Like I said, I've been like rocking some Kiss vinyl, and I'll go back. I'll watch the videos. But I'm not feeling the fun Kiss right now. And I really hope that they would do something to rejuvenate that funness for me. And I hope that when they do and I guarantee you, they're probably going to do the same friggin' songs for this Sail Away acoustic show that they're supposed to be doing on the Kiss cruise, and it's going to be like in the round on the pool deck, which is going to make less space for everybody because all the other stages are there, so it's going to be twice as packed. I hope it's great. I hope they dig deep. And for the indoor shows, I hope they please do something different. Throw the Alive 2 costumes back on. Throw the Destroyer costumes back on. Shit, put the fucking Hotter Than Hell costumes back on. Do a whole album. Do Hotter Than Hell. Do the first Kiss album. They've already done... no, they did Dress to Kill, but I don't think they did the whole album. Like, do that. Do the deep tracks for the fans. The people that are on the Kiss cruise want that stuff. They're not well, if it was a hit, it would be popular, or whatever the fuck he says. Like, please, put the fun factor back into Kiss, Paul and Gene. Mostly Paul, because Paul's steering the ship. Mm-hmm. And please bring that fun factor. And that's one of the main reasons that I'm not going on the Kiss cruise this year, because I had a great time, but the Kiss is so far from the fans right now that it's fucking ridiculous. If you want to have any interaction with the band, it's going to cost you a couple $1,000 more than what you've already paid to be on that boat. And I understand that, you're not going to, go and sit down and have a coffee with Gene in the fucking cafe. That's just not going to happen. But right now, it's I think it's all about the almighty dollar right now. And I felt totally fucked over when we were in that theater show last year on the Kiss Cruise 8, and it was just the songs you're going to see on this tour that they're doing right now. There were no deep tracks at all, fucking zero. I remember finally I got to watch an indoor Kiss Cruise show with Rob right next to me. We were cabin mates. We had our seats right next to one another, and like they're playing a song, and we're looking at one another like, okay, here comes a deep track, and then it's like fucking shout it out loud. Oh, Jesus Christ, here comes another deep track. Oh, it's Calling Dr. Love. Okay, and like we were looking at one after every song started, like the life was being sucked out of us. We still enjoyed the songs, but it's like, play something fucking different. And they didn't. And it was just, I felt fucking violated after the Kiss Cruise last year. So for the sake of everybody that's on board this year, please, Kiss, rock their fucking world. And maybe you'll see me back on Kiss Cruise 10.
Okay.
End of rant.
Back to the subject.
But the movie was fucking great. If you feel down about Kiss, watch Kiss and Scooby Doo, Rock and Roll Mystery. It's fucking awesome.
Okay, so obviously we all like that the Scooby Doo movie better than Phantom, correct? Nobody else is. That was going to be one
Far
of the
and
questions. But if you had to rank, like out of 5, what would you rank each movie?
I would rank. Do you want to do all 3? Well, I have not everyone's seen all 3.
Oh yeah, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
So Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park / Attack of the Phantoms. 1 to 5 scale we doing?
Yeah, like 1 to 5.
1 to 5 scale.
5 being the best.
I'm gonna give 2 different answers to that.
Oh, whatever.
It's a 5+ for the 10-year-old Steve.
Okay.
It's a 5+ for the 10-year-old Steve.
Yeah.
Notwithstanding the 40 minutes it took you to see Kiss again from the beginning of the movie. 30, 40 minutes, whatever it was.
Yeah.
51-year-old Steve. It gets about a 2.
Okay.
Because it's just it's horribly acted. It's not acted. It's just like Paul Stanley says, you be up on there and you be line and they tell you what you say and Star Child, we've got to get out of here. Like seriously, like Keanu Reeves is a fucking Academy Award winning fucking actor compared to the acting done on this fucking movie.
Hey, Keanu Reeves is having a heyday, so it's not.
I know, he's. I'll
not
tell you what.
cool
He's
to bash on him anymore.
I mean, like I won't say now, but like
in Dracula.
Yeah,
it's really bad in Dracula.
God, yeah. Well, there you go.
I'm Jonathan Harker.
Scooby Doo meets Kiss, Rock and Roll Fantasy, whatever, Rock and Roll Mystery.
Rock and Roll Mystery.
I give it 5+. I just for fun factor alone, it like I said, it took me back to the Saturday morning cartoons and put me back in the fun Kiss realm because, like I just did my rant, the fun Kiss is not a thing for me right now. But this brought me back to, yes, they can be fun. They can make fun of themselves. They can, just be cool. Mm-hmm. It can just be the Kiss that you want them to be. And I think they are on this. And I'm ready for some fucking Scooby snacks.
Yeah. Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park. I'll give that a 1. But Kiss, Attack. What's the
Attack of the Phantoms.
I give that a 2. And then of course the Scooby Doo is a 5 bag popcorn because it was just fantastic and not expected.
BC?
I agree with Steve on the 10-year-old or 8-year-old in my book. But I have to agree with VV. Number 1 for the
adult BC.
The
Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park?
Yes. And then the better music one. Because you got to get that. At least a little
you get a little more Kiss music too, right?
For the music part. And the Scooby-Doo one was the surprise one. It's definitely a 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll give Phantom a 2 because I did have some fun watching it, but not the fun that was intended to be gotten out of it.
Making fun of, not having fun with.
I enjoyed laughing at it, not laughing
with
with it. And Scooby-Doo, I'm going to give that a 5. It's a fun movie. It's better than it had any right to be because it's a cash grab for sure, but it's a cash grab that they clearly had fun making. And they put a lot of effort into it.
I was just gonna say they put some into it, not just
and like
put this out there and let's get some money.
And funnily enough, the Scooby Doo movies that have been coming out that are connections, like there was a WrestleMania one with like the WWE.
Oh, yeah. Like is the Undertaker in it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's
I'll
better
have to
than
watch that.
It's better than you would
He's
think.
awesome.
Like they put some effort into these. Like they're funny things, and like sure some of it lands flat, but it's better than you would think it would be. And I'm really glad this is a series that's been going. Like I love the Scooby Doo. I love the Scooby Gang. I think they're fantastic characters. They're adding a little more personality to them as they go. Sure, they beat the shit out of Fred in this movie, but. They like Shaggy and Scooby still come off as they always do.
But you know what? You can with the format that they're doing them now. It's not a weekly television show.
Yeah, well they do have one.
Well, yeah, but with them
this,
adding more
yeah.
dimension to the characters, there's more time to do that in a DVD fashion, like a movie type fashion. You can add the more dimension to the characters because you have the time to do it rather than a half an hour TV show with 4 commercials in it.
And like this movie was elevated to a 5 for me because Kiss was. I was surprised how much Kiss was willing to make fun of themselves. Like the one scene where Shaggy and Scooby think that they're going to get more courage from wearing their boots, and they're like, "Nope, the boots were a bad idea. We can't run in these things." Like that's great. I would never have imagined Gene or Paul signing off on that, especially Paul. Just like with them being made fun of. I really appreciated that they had that sense of humor about themselves for this movie.
And I do like when Shaggy takes, finally regular footwear, and
Yeah.
like Scooby's like, it doesn't smell like that.
Yeah, it's so good, and I'm really glad that you guys enjoyed that movie because
I did, and I want to say again, thank you, Dylan, for making me watch this movie.
Yeah.
Otherwise, probably never.
Because I wouldn't have. I'm telling you, I wouldn't have watched it.
And I think this is a lesson that everybody could learn from. That sometimes when you think something will be shit, or like you think,
but
God, this is going to be terrible.
To me, it was the whole Kiss.
What
thing.
Dylan is really saying is don't think that whatever I tell you is going to suck.
I do have good taste. I do have pretty good taste. I've been told that.
If you told me it was a Scooby movie, it'd be one thing, but being Kiss tied in, I was kind of like, oh God, they just put this together and make money and like that.
Yeah.
But it was really, really good.
It was. So
big surprise.
So everyone out there, go out and watch this movie. It's fantastic. We all give it 2 thumbs up. We're over the moon for it. It's honestly one of my favorite pieces of media that we've consumed for this show. I'm not gonna lie. It's so much fun. But we're gonna have a Spotify playlist
compared to what's coming up.
Yeah, we're gonna have a Spotify playlist of the week after in the show notes of this episode. I'm gonna put in some of the songs that were featured in both movies. We're gonna put all of Peter Criss' solo album on there. We all know that we were missing it. We were all like, well, why didn't they play the rest of the songs? Where was Tossing and Turning? Where was Gene doing When You Wish Upon a Star?
It was in the bottom of the toilet.
Yeah, the Kiss toilet in the Scooby Doo movie.
I don't know how I'm gonna unload this thing.
Oh, but if you guys like us covering movies, we would be more than willing to. Well, I would be more than willing to do more. There was talks of somebody at this table has not seen This Is Spinal Tap, and hey, listeners, if you want us to cover that, you should let us know because.
There's 2 of us at the table that have not seen
it. It's shocking, BC.
When do Twin Powers activate?
It's a classic.
But it's a classic movie, so if you guys want us to cover that, let us know. We would love to force these 2 to watch something that they'll enjoy again. But like I said before, thank you for listening. You can like us on Facebook. You can check us out on Spotify, on iTunes, on YouTube. We're all over the place. We're everywhere you can find a podcast. You can find Hotter Than Hell Podcast. If you have any comments or any future suggestions for an episode, let us know. We would love to cover anything that you'd like us to cover. And I would like to extend my thanks to you guys for being patient with this movie and watching it and taking the time to watch something that you had previously written off. And we will see you next time, and there will be a next time.
You can have my ass, 'cause girl, it's mine.